Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
I'm dying to see what America's going to do to this. I'll use my favorite word again, clusterfuck, 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 clusterfuck.
To confuse the public about science, to confuse scientists about science.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Science is back. And I choose science over fiction. And so if the science is demonstrated it's doing great damage, then I don't care what it does to a small business person who's selling this stuff. If it is damaging lungs, if it's causing the kind of damage that is said, and that study's not been fully done yet, if it turns out that it is, then I would eliminate it. I would make it, I would go after it in a hard way. I would make it broader, not just for he is.
If we get asked a specific question by a teen, either a direct message to us or via social media about the relative harms of vaping versus cigarettes, we try to be as clear as possible that if your comparator is a cigarette, vaping is less harmful.
In England, the Royal College of Physicians has apparently done a great deal of research on e-cigarettes, and they have actually found that compared to smoking cigarettes, the rate of damage from e-cigarettes is 5% of what it is from smoking traditional cigarettes. You're reducing the damage by 95%. Hey, I don't think vaping or e-cigarettes are good for you. But if you have to choose between smoking and vaping, I happen to feel that vaping is safer. I don't think vaping is good for you, but it's better than smoking.
We're going to choose science over fiction.
And FDA has not used that terminology to use the most recent estimates of youth use. I will say that I'm an epidemiologist by training, so I'm fully cognizant of the definition of an epidemic, which is unprecedented increases over what you'd expect at baseline. That said, I think and know that the science has shown a decline in the number of youth users, and that's a good thing.
The FDA today calling it a dangerous epidemic.
The FDA calls teen vaping an epidemic.
Epidemic? I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated.
Vaping is not as harmful as smoking. Kids are kids, and there's many, many, many reasons why they choose to do different types of things.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Guess what? You guys missed it last week. Dr. Glover and I had dinner here in Corpus Christi, Texas. We had good barbecue, and then we went and had good microbrews. Her and her partner Steve and her young daughter, who's not really young, she's like 19 or whatever. But her young daughter, I'm an old man, so I can call her that. Y'all didn't get to have dinner with us. Ha ha ha. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. Welcome to Son of Liberty Radio. We have been gone for, well, we didn't do a show last week at all, and Kevin was gone for like 2 weeks before, and we had substitute Kevin in his place. But we're all back to normal. I got beautified today just for you guys. I went and got shaved and the haircut and got that Oiler hat on. It's just been one of those weeks, and it's been a very interesting week. Since we weren't here last week, we get to talk about menthol and eNJOY, and we get to talk about some Supreme Court shenanigans that have really nothing immediately to do about vaping, but they're screwing around with regulatory powers, which we love because we don't want the government telling us what to do. But anyway, Kevin is in the back room. let's bring Kevin in, because I'm sure he's missed you and you've missed him, and everybody wants to say hello to Kevin.
I can't believe you had Dr. Glover with supper, and then just, I can't stand you.
Yeah. Well, see, I didn't know there's some things that we talked about that we can't talk about on the show, that I know some things now that really changed the way that I think about some things that I had previously been sort of happy about, but sort of not. And, I didn't really have any confirmation. It felt kind of weird to me. And now I know. But anyway, yes, Steve, who is Dr. Glover's partner, they have recently purchased a bar, and we went, and they sell boutique beers from New Zealand there, and we went to a restaurant. Well, we went to barbecue, and then afterwards we went to a different restaurant / bar, because they make their own beers at this restaurant. They have like 14 different beers that they make. So then we had some beers. Not Dr. Glover. She did not have any beers, but me and Steve had beers.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
A fruitful visit, I presume.
It was enjoyable. It was very short. I mean, they drove down from Houston, which is like a 4-hour drive, 3.5-hour drive. We had dinner, and they had to go back. So, I wish we would have been able to offer them my guest room is currently filled, so I didn't have a place for them to crash. But it was enjoyable. They had, but yeah, it was good dinner. And
love it.
Lovely conversation, and enlightening as well. But
good.
I'll tell you, but I won't tell them.
Okay.
It's one of those things. But Dr. Glover's got work that she's doing. Actually, some very interesting stuff that I will. I'm going to assist her on some stuff. But anyway,
sweet.
How was your time off?
It was quiet and mostly uneventful, which is exactly how I like it.
Yeah.
And we made good time both there and back, and we surprised the shit out of somebody important to me, and yeah, we had a really good time. So Janice kind of behaved herself mostly. A couple moments here and there.
A little bit of behavior is better than no behavior.
That's right. And in about 20 minutes, I may or may not turn my shit off for a little while and deal with her for something else. But
well, you got to do what you got to do, bro.
We'll find out. And I see that Kevin bought. Did everyone behave while I was gone the week before last?
Well, I mean, Jason did a good job of being you while you were gone.
I can't imagine he wouldn't.
It's
not that hard.
So what the funny thing is Jason was supposed to go to Houston this last week when Dr. Glover was here. There was a vaping event, or it was called Alternative Expo or whatever. And you remember a while back I was complaining that certain companies that I'm friends with had been holding out on me.
I saw your tweet.
But anyway, he didn't get to go because his wife was ill. But Dr. Glover actually went.
Oh, did
she? Good. She tweeted from the event as well.
Yeah.
So I have changed the little thing under my name. It no longer says Zenthusiast, which, I mean, I'm not gonna say bad things about Zen either, but
is it keeping you off smoking? And that doesn't do that.
It is a good maintenance dose for when you cannot. Now, obviously, it comes in higher nicotine strengths, but I just got the 3 milligram, Kevin. This is just this is not for like long-term fly-in or anything. This is just for like dropping one in your mouth and putting it in there and then going on about your day when you just kind of
when you're shopping for chainsaws or something. Yeah. Yeah.
I need.
I get to have monkey tomorrow morning, 7:30. So chop. 7:30.
But now I am a Zemo enthusiast. A Zemo enthusiast, not as influencer.
I don't forget what I got. I never did the on thing. I guess it's on, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, Kev, is I've been looking at other not available here, but some of our friends. Now you remember Norbert Zillotron, right? You know Norbert.
Well, yeah, the Zillotron man, yeah.
Norbert, from what I understand, has gone completely onto the pouches, and he's not vaping anymore. He's now a full-time nicotine pouch user. And
I haven't seen him much.
They bumped into each other in Poland, and apparently he goes around with like a fanny pack full of like nicotine pouches in different varieties, and he mix and matches his nicotine pouches based on what two flavors go together.
Well,
So,
let me ask you a stupid
if
question.
you have like a Zemo blueberry and you want to add a little bit of a mint to it, you could do like one, if you have the low dosage one, you could do like one of each,
Isn't that kind of like the Starbucks model? You just mix and match and do your shit.
You can customize it right there in your mouth, Kevin.
Everybody likes flavors, except the people that don't think they do.
But somebody, like one of our friends had posted, because when I said I was changing it to Zemo enthusiast, or Zemo enthusiast, he said, well, maybe I should be called Loopy because he uses a brand called Loop in Europe, and they actually have a licorice berry sort of thing going on, which is the same flavor profile as my green liquid.
That doesn't sound intriguing to me, but
you can go to hell. It's
right?
fine.
Exactly. See, that's how it works. What
I
do you doing?
retweeted. Well, and they also have like jalapeno mango and all sorts of weird stuff too. So sadly, the only way that I know for sure to get those is if I like order them from the same place that I order my snus from.
Yeah,
because they do have them. They do have more options over there. But anyway, I did stop by my little hybrid shop today to buy some of these things here, and that's the only place that I frequent, because I never go inside the convenience store when I get gas. I never go in. I just pay at the pump. So the convenience store might have more options, but I don't go in there. I might need to next time I get gas, walk in there.
Will's comment is appropriate.
Bill or William, yes. So Zyn is good to have when you can't vape and need to resist that urge to slap the shit out of people. Yes, it is.
Just a minute,
perfect.
bastard. Let me get my Zyn.
It is perfect for that, sir. It is a good maintenance. I mean, if you get the 3 milligram, now the snus are much higher than I use. But that is instead, like if I'm going to do that, I'm not going to do the vaping for like an hour or two. I'm going to put that in, and then I'm not gonna vape for a while, because then you might get a little over nicotinated. But yeah. So you enjoyed your time off, Kevin.
I did.
You did not miss us while you were gone.
I missed everybody except you. That's correct. You heard it. Plus, then I come back and then I see you're with Dr. Glover, and that just made me really happy for.
Oh, I purposefully posted that just to get your dander up.
I know, it's all right.
I even said it when I took the picture. Well, actually, Steve took the picture, I think, with that one. When I posted the picture on Twitter, and there was some shenanigans going on. I had already had a couple drinks, and there were some typos on my live streams, and I couldn't figure out how to hold the phone. I've never used StreamYard to go live from the phone, but I did. There were some shenanigans going on, and we had to delete one and put a new one up, and it was a little bit
I love
chaotic.
That she and family from New Zealand,
yes,
are in Texas, and they're their importance to meet with you was just that, and that for that.
Well, Kevin, she did lament that you live in Ohio, and were unable to join us. I will say that.
If I was joining, you would have bought. I'd have made you buy everybody's.
Well, they bought the barbecue and I bought the bar.
But I just would have made you buy everything.
Yeah.
Everybody in the house, this guy's paying. That's what I've done to you. No.
They were really fast with the drop in the credit card at the barbecue place, but I got them at the bar.
There you go.
Yeah. But hey, let's talk about this Australian thing, Kevin. The Aussies are all effed up. You know what I'm saying?
It's like I started over again. I leave and I come back and they're just
the prescription model. The pharmacists are rebelling. They don't want to be tobacconists, is what they're saying. So I got a video here. Let's watch this video.
Adults who vape will still be able to buy them from a pharmacist without a prescription in a significant watering down of reforms. Amanda Coppy's live at Parliament House for us. Amanda, good morning. What are health professionals saying?
Good morning, Sarah. Well, the Pharmacy Guild has come out very strongly against these last-minute changes to Labor's vaping crackdown, saying pharmacists shouldn't be treated as tobacconists. However, the Australian Medical Association says the reforms are still a significant step in the right direction, taking vapes out of the general retail stores and into a clinical setting. Labor's original plan was...
Now, Kevin, I mean, I don't know how they do pharmacies in Aussie land. My experience having traveled, not to Australia or New Zealand, but in other countries, I have been in the pharmacies in Central and South America. I've been in the pharmacies here in the States. I've been into a pharmacy in the UK, in the Philippines, in Japan. To refer to a pharmacist, pharmacy, like a Walgreens or CVS or any of the, chains worldwide. I would not refer to any of those places as being a clinical situation, Kevin.
No, nowhere near it.
I mean, sure, the store, you have to walk through like the little expensive grocery section. You walk through the nutraceuticals, the makeup, the hair shampoo, and the underarm deodorant, and finally you get to the back of the store where the pharmacist is at. And here in the States, at least, Kevin, if you buy a prescription, the pharmacist is supposed to ask you, do you have any questions?
Mm-hmm.
And they give you that print out of what the medicine is, right? There's an informational packet with every prescription that you get.
That's what we're doing at 10:30. We read it.
Apparently, Kevin. Yeah. Apparently, that handing of the paper turns it into strictly a retail situation into a clinical situation, because they hand you a printout telling you about the medicine. It becomes clinical then.
Wouldn't it be a little more obvious if it were a sterile environment where Zippy's not stealing $995 worth of shit out in the hallway, and then you're never mind.
I'm just saying, they're throwing that word clinical around.
They like that, so they can feel official.
Yeah,
that's what it is, and it's
to have therapeutic vapes, that is ones in plain packaging with no flavors. Only.
Okay, so again, it becomes a therapeutic product because it comes in a plain package with no that's what makes it clinical, Kevin. So Kevin, my e-liquid that I make myself in my little house here in my little mixing station has no labels on it. It's very plain package. This is now a therapeutic vape, Kevin, because it's
and it has a childproof cap. So it
does. All of my products do. I had to order new bottles today, Kevin. I realized I'm down to like 3 empty bottles, and I have to mix today. So I'm gonna have to mix in glass. I'm gonna have to use my glass containers.
Jason didn't use my catchphrase, did he? Listen here, Zippy.
He did not. He did not. He doesn't really have the air of authority required to deliver that statement, Kevin.
Well, it's faux authority, but all right, go ahead.
Yeah. He doesn't. He doesn't have the gravitas to deliver that line well.
Know your limits, Jason.
see, Michael says that he labels his. Mine's green, Kevin. So I know exactly what this is because it's green. And no, I do not add food coloring.
You'd lose his hand.
The flavoring I use makes it green.
He can't read anyway. He don't need to know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
He doesn't even ask.
Accessible with a prescription. That will still happen from July 1, but from October, adults will be able to get those vapes from a pharmacy without a prescription. They'll be sold like any other behind-the-counter drug where people will have to talk to a pharmacist. And for any worried parents out...
Okay. They will have to talk to a pharmacist, Kevin.
Pharmacist.
So let's role play this out, Kevin. You're coming to my pharmacy to buy a vape, and you don't have a prescription.
Hey, do you all have vapes?
Yeah, mate. What do you want?
Kids.
I have this one here. Here.
I want one.
Okay.
Can I have it in grape?
No.
Why the fuck not, D-Kid?
Because it doesn't come in grape anymore, sir.
Well, who the fuck started that?
You get tobacco or tobacco. That's all you get. Here.
You got some cigarettes? Because I'll just get them then.
No,
that's how
you have to go to the convenience store, mate. We don't sell those in the pharmacy here.
So they put all this shit for a year and a fucking half. I'd have to ask Pippa or Paul or Big B. I don't know, Baker. I don't know how long this has been going on.
Homicidals?
Homicidal? Or did they do this all this time and then they settled for less and they asked for the fucking moon? Or was this where
apparently one of the I think labor one of the other parties snuck in and watered the regulation down.
He snuck in.
Is what they're saying. They last minute changes. I'm gonna put that on Matt Canavan. He's probably the guy that did it. I like him.
Jason has a very good point. They want you to come to Jesus over at the counter with the guy in the white fucking coat.
Yeah.
So you can have a conversation.
Yeah. So there was actually an article that I was going to read tonight, Kevin, from I think it was from Vice. And it was on the show notes that it's in if you look in our thing, it's in there, but I did not include it because Kasa shared it out this afternoon. So I was like, well, what's the point? Because I was already. So I decided not to cover it, but it does go through. There is an interview between a customer and a pharmacist over vapes in that article. I invite you to read it, but I don't want to I don't want to reuse content that somebody else has already done. I have a thing about that. So
I'm stunned that some lawmakers outsmarted some other lawmakers.
It happens. I mean, Kevin.
It ain't no good.
If you wasted an hour and a half or 2 hours of your night last night, you could have watched two idiots trying to outsmart each other and just really demonstrating to the world how stupid they are.
I'm writing my own fucking name in this year, and that's that.
I actually sat through about 35, 40 minutes of it.
About 3 minutes, and I'm like, okay, I'm done.
And because I was hoping that there would be some sound bites that I could use. I could download it and like steal some sound bites to make some interesting little,
competence and incompetence,
meme videos or whatever you want to call them. But
like a Jeopardy game of who's.
I could barely. I mean, literally, Kevin. Whether you, I don't believe if you're a Democrat, you watched that video or that show last night or that whatever you want to call it. It wasn't a debate. You watched that thing that happened last night. And you still like the guy that you liked. If you're a Republican, you think Trump kicked Biden's ass, and if you're a Democrat, you say, well, you know what, Biden really didn't do as good as I wanted him to, but he's still my guy. Nobody changed their mind about who they're voting for based on the performance of last night's shenanigans.
Maybe it was 5, Michael. Maybe it was 5.
I think Biden might be sundowning because his mentation is clear. Because today I watched him, he delivered a speech and he actually sounded like coherent almost.
Yeah.
He was able to complete sentences, but last night, that poor man, like, he just was having word salad last night, dude. So, yeah, he might be sundowning, which is common for old people. But yeah, yes, and Michael Redfern is correct. He says, I knew we were all fucked before and after the show, yes. So, anyway, let's go back to this pharmacist thing.
This only applies to people over 18, so children still won't be able to access them without a prescription from a doctor.
Yes, they will.
The government has made this deal with the...
No. Not
Yes,
from the
they
pharmacist, Kevin. They won't be able to buy them from the pharmacist, but they'll be able to buy them from the guy in the park selling them out of the trunk of his car.
Yeah, the keyword access.
The guy with the neck tattoo, that's got the prison tats on his hand, the teardrop in his eye here.
Kangaroos chained to his bumper, probably. Is that how that works over there?
Yeah, they don't have pit bulls over there. They have they use the ruse for their dog fighting or kangaroo
Fight my drop, man. You can have a vape.
Yeah. Oh, no! Don't look over there. That's my heroin. But you want vapes, so I yeah.
Greens to ensure the laws can pass the Senate. Sarah.
And Labor has, of course, watered down its world-leading vape crackdown after striking a deal with the Greens. Amanda, from October 1, the public will be able to purchase vapes without a prescription. This is quite the backflip, considering the government's tough stance on vapes previously.
Well, firstly, I would say that to not be able to buy unicorn vapes and for children to get hold of them and smoke them in the school toilets, which is what is happening now. This is some of the challenges.
To smoke them in the school toilets, Kevin.
How incompetent are you people, really?
I mean, do your job, yo. I mean,
stenographers, whatever they are. Stenographers.
Yeah. Just do your job.
There's no facts.
Wah. So you think just because there's no word, it doesn't say unicorn vape on the side, that that's gonna dissuade people from breaking the rules?
I highly suggest at this point that you name everything. The first word is always fuck, and then the middle word is always going to be fuck, and then the end will also as well. That way they won't repeat them anymore. And there you go.
I seriously, I really think that, as a teacher and you notice your student's gone for 10 minutes, you should probably be concerned that something bad has happened and go check on them.
Well, they don't want to teach and they don't want to babysit, Patrick. Now calm down.
That parents are facing now. And we as a government said we wanted to do something about it. Now it's disappointing. We've had the National Party choose not to do anything about it. And it will be up to people like Bridget about whether they will support our legislation in the Senate. But this is really important. You will only be able to buy vapes from a pharmacy. You will have to have a conversation with the pharmacist. But all the packaging.
So they want you to have Kevin, I know that we're really stopping this because these people are just giving me so many opportunities to critique their nonsense here. You're going to have a conversation with a pharmacist who has no information about the actual technology that he's selling you.
It doesn't have a paper, Patrick.
I mean, this guy has never experienced the usage of this device. He just has a plain box to hand you. He doesn't know how to tell you how it works. He doesn't know how to tell you. I mean, Kevin, these people still think that it's combustion. They say smoke, Yeah. So,
right.
The guy doesn't even know the right terminology to deliver this information to you. And how the device actually works.
Is there any discussions you have to have with anybody to buy a pack of cigarettes in Australia? No? Okay, thanks. Thanks for my Kevin talk.
No, other than the judgy, the judgy look that you might get from somebody, you know. How dare you? How dare you? But yeah,
I did this without governmental permission.
Yeah. How dare you?
Dickhead.
And the marketing that was in place, the cherry flavoured or this flavoured, I guess it was really luring in children.
I guess the issue, though, Amanda, is that pharmacists aren't necessarily.
Now, after this show, these three ladies are all going to the corner bar and they're going to have a strawberry daiquiri or
a Karen convention, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, some Chardonnay. That tastes like fruity.
They're adults.
You know, yeah.
Happy about this, Bridget. They're saying they're not tobacconists. I mean, they have got a point.
Absolutely. This is
Steve. Steve says he wants a popcorn flavored vape. There is a flavor if you can find it. It's called Carney Y4. That is a popcorn tobacco. There's a company called Hometown Hero that makes a strawberry popcorn. Both of those are quite good.
Classic case of the Labor Party.
Actually, I don't know if Hometown Hero is still in business.
Trying to hide behind the white coat of the local pharmacists in this vain attempt to try and get vapes out of the hands of our children and out of our schools. And this won't change. Kids will still be able to purchase vapes in the local smoke marts and all the stores we know in our suburbs and our shopping centres where they're doing it right now. We want to see vapes locked up behind the counter under cloak as cigarettes are.
Bridget,
and
it's going to be illegal to
Amanda, can I
supply.
finish?
Bridget, it's going to be illegal to supply. You've
just quickly, guys, because I do want to quickly move on to the next topic. We're running out of time. We've only got about 20.
See, the Karens are now rebelling against each other, Kevin.
It's a gaggle of Karens. Look at them go.
So Canberra on the left in the white is pissed off that Canberra in the pink on the right. Because I guess they don't care that anybody knows these people's names. They just want to put where they are. But so white Karen over here in the white is Matt says that you can still buy them at the convenience store, even though this legislation says that you can only buy them in the pharmacy. So are you telling us that this that all legislation is nonsense? Because guess what? The black market exists. You guys created one hell of an awesome black market where people are firebombing convenience stores that the local cartels.
Duke is taking charge of that, by the way. So yeah,
the gangs in Australia, that are by day they're selling vapes and by night they're selling heroin and crystal meth and or ice or whatever it is that they call it over there. It's the same thing. You handed these guys an opportunity to make even more money.
Well, yeah.
When you've criminalized an entire segment of your population. Good for you.
Well, I'm confused that the message is that this will end all that, and then no, it won't. You idiots.
Well, RBF Karen on the left over here, she's got and Goofy over here, they and the poor Karen in the middle in the hot pink, Pepto-Bismol pink over here and hot pink over here. She almost lost control of her own show there for a second. But yes, all laws that Michael Redfern says, and unenforceable law is a bad law.
There you go.
As far as that goes, like, how do you enforce a law that has no teeth?
Right.
You
cannot.
Yeah. This is the what we've been preaching for a long time. But people just don't listen, Kevin. They don't listen to us.
They don't care.
Two chuckleheads We are, you know, I was actually looking today, Kevin. I was almost concerned enough to buy another bottle of 100 milligram nicotine. Almost purchased another bottle of 100 milligram nicotine. I was actually looking for PG and VG, just in case. You know, it's always good to have.
That should be pretty easy to get, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
Here.
it's just, you know, yeah. It's.
I mean, Walmart used to.
I was looking because I need to mix more green stuff, and like I said, I realized I was out of bottles, so I'm gonna have to use my pint sized glass bottles to make a whole big batch.
Here's another one you guys in Australia can start naming things. Anything with balls, like alien balls, you know, stuff like that. Just do that.
Yeah.
Because I want to see 3 Karens go, oh, they're vaping alien balls.
So I've named in my head. I just refer to this as green goodness. That's
green goodness.
Green goodness.
I like.
There's
that.
a company that makes a health smooth. If you go to the produce department in the supermarket, they have juices in there, like actual natural fruit juices, and one of them is green that I drink. It's spirulina and lemongrass, and they have an apple in there, and it looks nasty. Like it looks like some sort of weird toxic stuff. But it's called green goodness. So I'm just, you know.
There you go.
Yeah. But anywho, Kevin. So eNJOY has received clearance as of last Friday.
Maybe? I think last week.
To sell menthol flavored e-liquid in a pre-filled cartridge.
Look at that.
Look at that. So
Pod
Reason,
price, right?
Yeah, Reason has, you know, Jacob Sulam, he put out a paper here, or a little report. It says FDA belatedly and arbitrarily approves menthol vapes. The agency's inscrutable approach to harm-reducing nicotine products sacrifices consumer choice and public health on the altar of youth protection.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I was worried about the youth.
I have that eNJOY device right here somewhere. It's
actually
under my keyboard or somewhere. But I do have
it.
But anyway, it says the FDA, which until Friday had approved only tobacco-flavored nicotine vaping products, has now officially allowed the sale of menthol-flavored eNJOY daily disposable e-cigarettes and menthol-flavored pods for the previously authorized eNJOY ACE device. After extensive scientific review, the decision reflects the FDA's preference for closed, non-refillable ends and its aversion to letting former smokers buy the flavors they prefer, which both of which sacrifice the interests of adult consumers in the name of preventing underage use. Now, Kevin, I have previously I have expressed my opinion on the eNJOY device. The eNJOY ACE and the eNJOY Daily. In my opinion, and I'm not a menthol user, but in my opinion, the menthol pod and the menthol eNJOY Daily was far better experience to me than the regular old plain old tobacco flavor.
Right.
For me, I'm not going to be hypercritical of this because I actually, prior to them being purchased by Altria, I had a good relationship with the people at eNJOY when they were independent, when they were Cetera. So I'm not going to be nasty about it because they were always fair to us, eNJOY.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't dislike the product. I think that if that's the only thing out there, people can use that to quit smoking.
It's something to go to. It may
right.
not.
I mean,
I will work long term, but it's something to go to. Right.
eNJOY Daily, when they came out, well, first it was the eNJOY King, and that was not exactly the same as the eNJOY Daily. I actually always carried those around in my glove box to give to people because they were cheap. They worked. I mean, this is before all of the crazy people went out and started building, 0.00003 coils with a 500 watt device, and people just were looking for a simple alternative. It worked fine. I do hear all these people claiming that they couldn't quit with that, but millions of people did. So to me, the evidence does not. The evidence proves that we created 11 million vapors with simple technology before any of this crap came out. And to tell you the truth, after this crap came out, all the the high wattage and all that stuff, the numbers haven't increased significantly, Kevin.
Nope. And you're bending the market. The existing market.
If that device was less, if this new stuff is far superior to the old stuff, the numbers of vapors would be significantly higher than the numbers that we created prior to the introduction of this amazing technology.
James Jarvis. When I went to Columbus, I walked in and with the intent of giving him a hug and all, and I toured the store. Now it's a store, so you guys have all been in them. And one of the things he had was a Cigalike still. This is 2018, I think. And I commended that because that's the starting point. That's a starting point. And then you can push them towards. I was ego. I started with a Cigalike and went straight to an ego within a month. But that's it's whatever your taste is. But
Kevin, I know people that are vapors that used vaping to quit smoking, that use a Cigalike and have used a Cigalike for 10 years.
Right. Well, my dad used to say to me, I'm smoking Marlboros or Marlboro Lights. Oh, here, smoke a real man's cigarette. Well, I'm young at the time, whatever. But as you get older, your friends will do that. Well, I don't like those because, well, good, you don't like those. Who gives a shit? So if somebody likes an eNJOY or a Juul or an Ego or whatever the fuck they're using, leave them alone. Maybe you might learn from them. This is somebody said, "What the hell is that in your hand, Crowley?" last week on my little trip, and I said, "This keeps me from smoking." That's all it is. That's what it is.
It's my nicotine pacifier.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, who gives a shit? It's my penis. Yeah. Leave me alone. You. So quit shaming people for doing their thing. Leave them be.
But anyway. Evidence submitted by the applicant showed that these menthol products provided a benefit for adults who smoke cigarettes relative to that of the applicant's previously authorized tobacco-flavored products. In terms of complete switching, that is sufficient to outweigh the risks of the product, including youth appeal, the FDA said. In this case, explained Matthew Fairley, Director of Office of Science at the FDA Center for Tobacco Products, the strength of evidence of benefits to adult smokers from completely switching to a less harmful product was sufficient to outweigh the risks of youth. Now, Kevin.
What?
That statement right there addresses something that we have repeatedly over and over and over again said, tell me what the metric is. But so that, if we save 1 million smokers, how many children are allowed to use this product before it outweighs... And they've never, ever provided that metric. But now they're saying that the strength of the evidence of the benefits of these menthol eNJOY pods and dailies outweighs the risk to youth. Which means that metric does exist, but they won't tell us what it is.
Right. And until you define a person who is underage of whatever the fucking state or place you are in, I don't give two shits. If those children, whatever they are lighting cigarettes, when exactly can we define them as a person that smokes, and allow them to use something less harmful immediately, despite their age, because they're doing it anyways. So they need to shut up.
It says here, Kevin, the FDA is applying a standard established by the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act of 2009, which states the agency should approve new tobacco products when they are appropriate for the protection of public health, which, again, they have never told us what that metric is. They have never told us what that standard is. How can we meet that standard if we don't know what it is, Kev?
Well, if they're cigarettes, they get authorized. So how is that protecting public health when a new cigarette comes out?
Yeah, well, that's a question that they also will never answer.
You know, we should stop authorizing any new product. They never have that. It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't exist.
We're only going to approve products for the companies that we have relationships with, Kevin. I mean,
Bill's on line 3. Let him know we're already pushing it through.
Yeah. The agency is supposed to take into account the risks and benefits to the population as a whole, including users and non-users. That in turn entails considering the increased or decreased likelihood that existing users of tobacco products will stop using such products, as well as the increased or decreased likelihood that those who do not use tobacco products will start using such products. So they're saying that nobody that has ever smoked a cigarette, you have to establish that somebody who has never smoked a cigarette will not start using your product.
You're proving something that's impossible to prove, or alluding to
But that's a standard that we somehow have to meet, and apparently, eNJOY did because their product got approved. So how is it that you
how can
do that?
How can any car be on the road with the same rules? Because a child will drive a fucking car if they can, and they're going to, and they do, and they wreck them, and they do whatever the fuck. They drive 9 miles to Cleveland, and they go, "Oh, the kid stole the car."
Jason, just vape a little bit more. That'll keep you awake. So and Raj is absolutely correct, but I also want to push back just a little bit on that. So he says that still only big tobacco products have been approved, which is 100% accurate, except that eNJOY has not always been a big tobacco product. Mm-hmm. These products were not sudden. These products have been manufactured and sold in the United States prior to them being purchased by big tobacco. They're still made in the same factory that they were prior to being purchased by big tobacco. And the board of directors is identical to who was on the board of directors before the purchase by big tobacco. So this company, eNJOY, Cetera, they existed before. And if it wasn't for that company, eNJOY, Cetera, none of us would be vaping today, because they are the ones that sued the FDA. And, well, they were the ones that completed the lawsuit that was started by Smoke Everywhere and Green Smoke that allowed vaping to continue in the United States. Cetera signed on after the case had been open for about a year as a third defendant, and then the other two companies went out of business. But if it wasn't for Cetera / eNJOY, none of us would be vaping today. So I do give them a little bit of leniency, and yes, the company that manufactures these products is ultimately owned by an even bigger company that is big tobacco. Altria does now own eNJOY, but again, eNJOY was a company before they were purchased by big tobacco. These products are the same products that they sold prior.
So big tobacco.
The eNJOY purchase just happened about a year and a half ago. Yeah. So they've been in business for about 16 years prior to being purchased by big tobacco. And I work for a company. Let's just be, I work for a company. I work for a local home health company that is owned by a hospital corporation that is ultimately owned by a biotech company. So, do I work for biotech? No. So I it's the same thing with Juul. I could use the same argument with Juul, even though I despise Juul because they made some shitty business decisions prior to being purchased by Big Tobacco. They were assholes before Big Tobacco purchased them. Again, eNJOY, they were very nice to us. They defended us in court. They supported us. They wrote checks. They did all the necessary things to defend their company prior to the purchase of Big Tobacco. They employed, they employed Brian Fotick and the young lady that took over Safada for a time before as their political wing. So they've done a lot of work, and I don't want to completely diss them. And I'm just giving you, I'm not giving you shit, Raj, but I'm just explaining my defense of eNJOY and why I'm ultimately happy for them that they got this menthol thing through. Plus, I think if we argue this properly and say, well, you've approved a menthol flavor, I really, I think that we can use that as an argument that they should be, approving other flavors. So we just need to use this as a toehold to get in there. Is all I'm saying. But anyway, Kevin, in the ends context, as Fairley's comment reflects, that evaluation comes down to weighing the benefit of a given product and helping adult smokers quit against the risk that it will appeal to teenagers. But those judgments, which hinge on predictions of how adults and teenagers will respond to a particular product, are inherently uncertain and debatable. Furthermore, there is no legal formula for weighing the benefit of increased smoking cessation among adults, which entails a dramatic reduction in health hazards, against the risk of underage vaping, which entails a relatively modest increase in health hazards compared to a complete nicotine abstinence. That's a lot of words there, Kevin. And the FDA refuses to consider the benefit of replacing smoking with vaping among teenagers, since it deems any ends used by minors unacceptable, even when the long-term effect might be a reduction in tobacco-related morbidity and mortality. Whew. Whew. So all the things that we just said, Kevin, this all feels arbitrary and capricious.
Easily. Conjecture.
So here's the thing. So the judge in the current, several lawsuits have bandied about the word arbitrary and capricious against FDA for denial of products, but the absolute same argument could be said for the approval of this product, because there's no standard that has been published for us to use in a scientific way, in a real concrete way to measure.
There are no rules
to measure, so that other people can say, well, this is what they did, so we can do it too.
Right.
Because they won't tell us what they did.
And
that proved, you know what I'm saying?
Really, Patrick, let me ask you a dumb question for anybody that may have it besides me. If you and I get dumb fucks liquid and we put it out and it's menthol, how much different is eNJOY's from ours, right? How many more
Nothing.
or less ingredients are we really going to have? Zero, right? Maybe they might add a little more menthol, or a little less PG,
or a little less, or they might throw,
So it's the same product, people.
Substantially. What do they call that? We haven't talked about
equivalence.
Substantially equivalent application in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyway,
it's been so long since we've used that terminology, Kevin. People may not remember, or people may not be aware that
you like to shove shit under the rug,
substantially equivalent application. That is if you have one product that's been approved and another product is substantially the same product, you can use that product as a toehold on a new application and just say, well, this product's essentially the same as that product.
I'm just some fucking chucklehead in Ohio, Patrick. I don't know much, but boy, this doesn't seem so fucking difficult.
Yeah. So, you have your PMTA.
Yep.
And then you
With
have
no
your
rules.
MRTP.
Yeah. With no rules.
Which is a modified risk tobacco application. So once you get your PMTA through, then you can actually apply an MRTP for that PMTA product so that you can then claim that your product is safer.
Equal.
Modified risk tobacco application.
But
so then there's a
protection of
third
public
thing
health-
that we haven't mentioned in a long time. Substantially equivalent application. So the substantially equivalent application essentially just says what I just said it says. It's basically, I have a product that's already been approved. Here's another product that is substantially equivalent to that product. Give me permission to sell this product.
That's right. Or find an excuse not to.
So, if the chemistry is similar enough, substantially equivalent to, you should be able to just apply that standard for a flavored product. So my challenge to Juul and Altria would be, now that you've got your menthol flavored your application in, you should attempt here. I'll make it simple. They should just do a substantially equivalent application for a caramel tobacco and say, hey, this is very similar to the tobacco. The only difference is we substituted one ingredient, the caramel flavor, instead of the menthol flavor. And here is the science on the caramel flavor. Let us approve this product. Approve this product. Or you could be even simpler and say, hey, I have a menthol tobacco. Now I want to sell a blueberry tobacco. All we did was take the menthol out and put a blueberry flavor in. They used to do a blueberry eNJOY daily. That's why they already have the recipe, I'm sure. So, yeah, let's just do that. Let's I challenge eNJOY and the people at eNJOY to do that. Hey, here is my approved application. This is substantially the same application as that application, except this one substitutes one ingredient. And see if they can get one through. But, they don't listen to me. So, it is what it is. But, that seems too, Michelle says that's too much common sense. Literally nobody's attempted it. So, they have the money. They can drop another couple of $100,000 and print out all of that same shit again and just substitute blueberry for menthol and see if it happens. But I doubt it. But, it could be a toehold for us, because once a flavor, they'll argue that menthol's not a flavor, that it's an additive. But, yeah, let's do that. But Kevin disappeared. He said he had to go. He might have to go do something. So he's dropping a deuce or whatever. It could happen. Let me make sure I'm on the right link here. I don't think no, here's the right link. Whoop, whoop. I was the wrong link.
Yeah.
So in relation to the tobacco menthol approval, Kevin, here this is a slightly humorous, ridiculous story, but let's talk about this. A Milwaukee church holds a mock funeral for menthol cigarette amid concerns about FDA vaping decision.
Wow. Can you just not waste any more time with this? Wow.
There's a coffin. Anti-tobacco groups are criticizing a federal decision last week to authorize 4 menthol vaping products. Local criticism came Sunday at a black church. Now, Kevin,
what?
Why are we calling this a black church? Is it like some sort of satanic church that it's black? I mean, could they not have used a different terminology here?
No.
This sounds very I don't like this terminology. Black church. So you're telling me that not one person that regularly goes to that church is a different color?
Well,
they only allow people of a certain racial persuasion to go to this church. I don't get it. But anyway, local criticism came Sunday at a black church during a mock funeral for Newport menthol cigarettes. The event pushed for halting the use of minty flavored additives in smoking materials. Like many people, Milwaukee's Patricia Wilson can point to relatives who smoked cigarettes and died. Here's what she said at Mason Temple Church of God in Christ on Milwaukee's north side. So at least they named the church there instead of calling it at a black church. In 2017, I lost my husband to a tobacco-related death at 49 years old. When I was 32, my brother had his vocal box removed because he smoked his vocal box? Voice box, maybe? Larynx? Vocal box?
Now he's got a beatbox.
I mean, I don't like that at all. Adding that 6 months later, her brother died, and she said her mother-in-law developed a fatal case of lung cancer due to secondhand smoke. Kevin,
don't start with me.
Fatal case of lung cancer due to. The Center for Disease Control says smoking rates in the U.S. have declined from 1 in every 5 adults 20 years ago to 1 in every 10 now. But health advocates say smokers of tobacco products continue to excessively market to Black and Latino communities, leading to disproportionate health problems. The advocates say that menthol cigarettes designed to reduce the harshness of the flavor are especially pushed. Now, Kevin, I think we've established that neither you nor I were menthol cigarette smokers.
Nope, couldn't stand them.
Was it because they were not harsh enough, Kevin? Because
I don't like menthol.
To me, I felt that menthol was more harsh. It made me cough more. It made my throat, my throat was more scratchy.
I tried when I had a cold a couple times, and it didn't do any good.
No, I would just throw a peppermint in my mouth when I smoked a regular cigarette when I had a cold.
Yeah.
But I don't think that menthol actually makes it less harm or less harsh. I myself had a completely different experience. I'll say that. Other studies show that most kids who smoke use a flavored product. That's not true.
Of course not.
See, Michael even agrees with me. I'm waiting for Raj to make a comment there. But yes, menthol. I don't think menthol made it less harsh. I think that's somebody just making up a fact and repeating it over and over again, so that people will repeat it and believe it. The National Group of African American Tobacco Leadership Council is part of a coalition that sued the FDA 4 years ago to halt the use of menthol flavored products. The agency was supposedly going to announce a ban a couple months ago, but that's been delayed because it's ridiculous and stupid.
How'd that work out? 4 years.
Because a completely different group of black people said, hey, you're unfairly banning a product that I like.
Well, yeah.
The council's founder, Carol Magruder, who was at the Milwaukee church Sunday, said she's disappointed because each year there's more people dying, there's less support and resources that are out. That's not true either, Kevin. She said that more people are dying. Less people are dying. Fewer people are smoking and fewer people are dying. That's not true at all.
How does that
Lastly, the FDA announced or authorized the use of 4 menthol vaping products made by a private company, stating the vaping items may help adults transition from traditional cigarettes to a less harmful alternative. Yes, that's true. Magruder disagrees with the move. If our government is saying this is truly a cessation aid, and that's the research, let the government take it over. Let Walgreens dispense them for free. Now, I don't think
bold statement.
I think Miss
from
Magruder
an empty head.
I think Miss Magruder. I think Altria would be happy to sell as millions of eNJOY Aces or eNJOY Dailies to Walgreens, so that Walgreens could just give them out for free. But
absolutely,
I don't think Walgreens gives anything out for free that I'm aware of. Yeah. Hey, Mike Peterson is in the chat. Did you see that?
What?
Yeah, I really don't think that this woman really understands what a capitalist society is about. By and large, most stores don't give out free stuff.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm just, pretty sure.
All
Pretty
that
sure
free, all that
Now-
that free counseling from
I
the
don't even-
FDA isn't free.
I don't even think that China gives out free stuff, to tell you the truth. I mean, they are a communist country, but I don't think they just give away stuff. No, I think you have to buy it. And I could be wrong. And Michael Redford says, yeah, NRT at Walgreens is expensive as shit. Now, I've never purchased shit at Walgreens, so I don't know.
They give it away every year in New York.
Give it away now. Anyway, for now, they give it away in San Francisco for free. It's right on the sidewalk, Kevin. For now, the anti-tobacco advocates like Milwaukee pastor Teresa Thomas Boyd may have to settle for symbolic funerals of menthol tobacco products like the one held Saturday for what were called nasty Newports. Yeah.
Again,
this is one we put to
subjective.
death today. The God. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I bet you Kevin will get a chuckle out of that.
Carol Recruiter. You like licorice flavored shit, right?
I do. Now, Kevin,
and
I'm
I
kind of
don't.
weird. My favorite gum when I was a kid was blackjack gum.
Okay, yeah.
And you
Understood.
can't hardly find blackjack gum anymore.
Not for me. But this is the thing. Not for me. It doesn't change the fact that I don't like you. I still don't like you.
Yeah,
but I don't judge you because you like something I don't. That has no bearing on my life. So for those of you who are trying to bear on someone else's life, fuck off. There.
Yeah. I think pastors should stick to spreading the glory of God and not, preaching from the pulpit about people's lifestyles. Yes. And Jason, you are correct. You can buy blackjack gum at Cracker Barrel. But you have to go to Cracker Barrel and you have to pay a premium for it.
And I wouldn't buy it anyway.
I actually have some here in the house.
I'd get you some
But
if I was
my
with you.
favorite candy, Kevin, this is a weird one that a lot of people, they have these little root beer barrel candies.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned hard candy that's a root beer barrel. I love those.
I remember those. They're
Love
good.
them.
Yeah.
But I'm an old man.
Yeah.
And the only jelly beans I like are the black ones. The black licorice ones. Those are the
See,
only ones.
because I think you're insane, and that's your choice, and you can be that. You do you.
I can be crazy. I'm allowed. This is
And
a free
any
country.
one of us in the room will say, "Well, I love X," and then somebody else is going to go, "Yeah, no, so much for me." Who cares? That's individuality. There you go.
See, even the mortician, Jason, he agrees. He says, give me all the licorice. You can't have all of it because I want some.
There you go.
If you're nice, I'll make you some green stuff this weekend. That's all I'm saying.
See, there you go.
I did promise to make him some green stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, lemon. No, not me, but that's okay.
Well, yeah. A little, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Let's see. This is being reported out of Nevada.
Oh.
Kevin.
Oh.
It says here, law-abiding retailers demand action on illegal vape market.
But Mitt Romney said, "Oh no, he's in Utah. Never mind."
Yeah. No, he's another
chucklehead.
He's a Mormon.
He's a moron.
Now,
Moron.
Kevin, don't be like insulting people of different religions than you. That's not.
He's a
nice.
moron. I had nothing to say about Mormon.
So the Nevada convenience store, the Gas and Convenience Store Association, as the state executive of the Nevada Petroleum Marketers and Convenience Store Association, I represent businesses in and serving convenience stores. Our members seek to provide a positive impact not only on the state's economy, but also on the well-being of the communities we serve. The well-being of the communities that you serve. You probably sell more liquor and alcohol than any other business in your state, but okay. Today we face a significant and persistent problem. The marketplace is saturated with illegal vape products, and there's an alarming lack of clarity and action from the FDA to address this issue. Now, let's be fair. The vast majority of those illegal vaping products are sold in your convenience stores, my friend. Just saying.
Well, yeah, because,
Yeah. I mean, considering that every one of those disposables that you guys sell under the shelf, none of those are legal. None. Not a single one. Yeah. Anyway, making matters worse, it seems that the FDA can't even acknowledge this problem exists. At a May 15 National Association of Tobacco Outlets, that's NATO, meeting, I and others were stunned to hear FDA Center for Tobacco Products Director Brian King claim that illicit markets aren't real. Well, I mean, that's essentially what his predecessor said.
Script, Patrick, script.
Mitch Zeller said the same thing. He said that there will be no black market. He said that like 2014, 10 years ago. So yeah, I mean they are consistent in their
assured there'd be no
delivery of their script here, Kevin. The assertion is completely disconnected from the reality retailers face in Nevada and across the country. The presence of illegal vapes is not a matter of opinion. It is a well-documented fact. I'd invite Director King to walk into any vape shop in Nevada and anywhere else in the country and tell us that the hundreds of products he sees for sale there have been reviewed and authorized by his agency. Now, again, Kevin, I'm not holding this up because I don't like this product, because I do like this product. But guess what? If your convenience stores sell this, you're the problem too, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, don't look behind the curtain, look over there. Those are the bad guys, not us.
Them people. Those people.
So the problem is, Kevin, when you point your finger at somebody else, 3 of those fingers, these 3, are pointing back at you.
That's correct.
So he's attacking vape shops, but again, every disposable vape that's on the shelf in your convenience stores are just as illegal as the e-liquid in a bottle that the vape shop is selling down the street.
Yeah.
Now, before you start throwing stones, you should make sure that your glass house is made out of bulletproof glass.
And everybody that's a member is not selling to minors, because that'll come up.
Now, I could take it. I could ask everybody in the room. There's somewhere around 50 people between all the different platforms this minute. Could you raise your hand or put a 1 in the chat room if you've been in a convenience store and you've seen a disposable vape product that is not one of the big tobacco manufactured vape products that,
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody that's listening, just say yeah. So we got Jason. Jason says 1. I promise you, I haven't been in. I said earlier, I haven't gone into the convenience store in a while. But when I did go and buy those eNJOY products, there were tons of other products that were on the shelf in there that I knew.
I have seen pink ones. I don't know what they are.
That I know for a fact are not manufactured by Big Tobacco. And some of them had the word bar at the end of them.
Yeah, yeah. That's what he has. That's it.
Yeah. So
this
schmuck is saying all of my people are innocent, and it's the vape shops. Now, Kevin, I have defended.
Yeah.
I have defended these assholes.
Well, yeah.
Because I want people to be able to walk into the same place that they buy cigarettes and see something on the shelf behind the guy at the cash register that one day they could say, you know what, don't sell me my Marlboros, or don't sell me my Winstons, or don't sell me my Salems, or don't sell me that thing over there. I want to try it out.
Yep.
Because that's how we get them.
Yep.
So I'm not going to sit here and attack the convenience stores, because I want the products to be there for when that person makes that split-second decision to buy a vape.
Yep.
So I piss all over this guy Because he's acting like his people are not part of the problem, that it's only the vape shops that are the problem.
When you deflect, you got to do it right.
So what's this guy's name? I need to, Peter Kruger. Peter Kruger, Kevin. Let me see if there's, I'm clicking on Peter Kruger here. Let's see. Let's go over to X real quick, Kevin.
No.
Let's go over to X, Peter Kruger.
Nevada Petroleum Marketers and Convenience Store Association.
Kruger. Is it Ueger? Yeah. Oh, I found him. All right. Peter Kruger. Now let me go back over here. I need to go back. I'm gonna, man, I only need this much of the link, right? Is that right? I only need that much. I don't need all that other crap. All right, let's go over to X for a second, Kevin.
See if he's tweeted it first. Is that a fresh one this week? No, he doesn't look very active, does he?
No, but I'm still gonna tag his ass, and I'm gonna request once I write my firmly or harshly worded letter, my firmly worded letter here. Yeah. Let's just go over here and click on this button, and we're gonna say, I just read your op-ed.
Yeah.
Is op-ed one word?
I hyphenate, but I don't think it matters.
I'll follow your lead.
Dumbass.
Hashtag vape shops.
Freddy Krueger. He looked like Chipman's sister, really, I thought. But, yeah. I'm going to check on my homestead again.
I'm going to use a fancy word here, Kevin. And it's going to tell me that I misspelled it. But that's okay. That's why I pay for the Grammarly. View of the situation. Let's see. Reveals. And again, I misspelled reveals just because I want to make sure that I'm getting my money's worth. Oh yeah, I got to do this. Ignorant. How do you spell ignorant?
FDA. That's how you spell. I'll be right back.
I'm sorry, this is really boring, but I want, I got fired up and I want to finish this. Plus, while we're live, you can retweet and share.
Did you spell it right? FDA. I have two things going on at once tonight. Three things going on at once.
Oh well.
It'll be all right. Everything's fine. Did you spell ignorance with FDA or did you not? No, you didn't, did you? See?
No, I just spelled it ignorant.
BRIAN, King, because he's an epidemiologist and he recognizes shit, right? So, yeah. They're kind of doing what we just said. Why are you shaming somebody? Stop it. Except for when it's Brian King or the FDA. You can do that.
Yeah.
Hey, I did acquire one of my father's guitar cases while I was up there in Maine. And there are no toll people. There are no toll people now in New York nor in Massachusetts. You just drive on through and then they take your little picture and then they send you a bill. I found that odd. Very odd.
I was going to put the link, but I'm not even going to do that because I don't want to share that.
Or Meredith. Alcohol-free Meredith or alcohol-induced? Look what you can do with that, whatever subscription you got. You got all kinds of happy words on there.
Yeah.
You're proud of yourself, ain't you?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well.
I feel bad that, like I said, I have been and still will defend the availability of these alternative tobacco products to be sold in the convenience store. But this motherfucker decides to publish an op-ed attacking vape shops who are way better at age verification than convenience stores, who don't sell as many, I'm not going to say none, as many of these illegal Chinese products as convenience stores.
And educate.
And then he decides to write a scathing op-ed full of nonsense and bullshit. So yeah.
And any vape shop's qualifications, well, unless it's the 17-year-olds or whatever, doesn't matter age, that don't know any better, can educate their potential customers. A real one will. So, and that personal thing, like Mark, as an example, is it's not the bedside manner. Let's use the bedside manner kind of thing. A vape shop person, shop owner / employee, hopefully the owner's there, or to trains them properly to assist, and hopefully these people are former smokers who have themselves gone through that, and then they can talk with other people instead of just going, here, try this.
I'm going to hit post now, Kevin.
Fine. Live tweeting. You didn't say live Xing, by the way. I wanted to make the record perfectly clear. You didn't say live Xing.
I just said I'm going to post. I didn't do that. So Peter Kruger, I have thrown down the gauntlet. You are invited anytime.
Oh, that's sweet.
To come and discuss the your misinformed opinion.
Opinionist. He's an opinionist.
Yeah. So to understand the scope of the illicit market, one has to look no further than a 2020 FTC report, which identified significant increases in the sale of unauthorized vape products. By one estimate, the amount of vaping devices has tripled in the United States since 2020, driven by illicit disposable vapes. And despite this rapid increase to date, the FDA's response has been minimal. So he's not saying my people don't sell this. Here's the evidence that these things exist, but he's making it seem like that it's the vape shops are selling these. Now, there are some. Don't get me wrong, Kevin. The place that I bought these from today is a CBD kratom store.
Yeah. Willing to place anything on
And
their
they have entire wall
There
of
you
disposable vapes.
And there you go.
But the convenience stores, the Valero Stripeses and the 7-Elevens, and they all have them too.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
It's a product they can sell, period.
Yeah. So for this dumbass to say that it's the vape shop's fault,
it's not a vape
and if I go through the list of places that have received warning letters by the FDA for selling to under 18s,
yeah,
that is substantially weighted towards C stores.
Oh, imagine Michael being in the room and him having a little chat with your pal Jerry, because he blocks me about that and his misinforming. Anyway,
which friend, Michael?
Mr. Peterson. He was in here earlier. We had that. I blogged about that one. Yeah, by and large, you all can kiss my ass, because these vape shops are and were not, by and large, purposely selling bullshit to minors.
By and large.
And bullshit selling no name, off name, knockoffs, whatever. I'm sure some did. I'm sure of that. But when I walked into James's store as the example, because I went into very few shops, I've been in very few shops on purpose because they all drive me nuts.
Uh-huh.
If they don't know certain things and they don't know what's legal and not, then I'm just going to have an argument. I don't want that. So I don't want to embarrass people. But if they have, or in the past, like James had, he didn't have patches and gums, of course, but he had the just a plain old cig-alike, for $10 or $12 or whatever it was at the time, its retail value, and you moved on with your day. And then he went up to the newer stuff at that point, whatever that shit was.
Mm.
That's all. That's all I wanted to see, really.
Mm. Hey, Kevin,
they're doing. Is it time? Is it?
You haven't been around.
Well, I've gained a little weight. It's not really round. I wouldn't call it round.
Do you know what time it is?
Is it meow? Here, I almost smelled cat shit earlier. Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
It's time for the Vape Cats of the Week.
It really is. Go ahead.
So Kevin,
go ahead.
Kevin sent one tweet, but it is a series. It's not one tweet, Kevin. You sent me an entire thread.
Well, you can take it any way you like.
From the rodent Phil.
Oh, I love Phil. Look, read the damn words and move on with our day.
So, but I wasn't sure if you intended to start at the top.
It's definitely. And I love you, Phil, but there was actually two contenders basically saying the same thing, but I chose you because I like your fuzzy little head.
So,
if you're listening.
So, like, if we start at the top, starts at February 15th of 2022, Kevin.
He's known for threads.
and this is I have a couple long-standing threads that I add stuff to periodically, but so starting in 2022, Phil tweets, what happens in the real world when flavor bans are implemented? San Francisco's ban on flavored tobacco product sales was associated with increased smoking among minor high school students relative to other school districts. So you see here, smoking is down. The other school districts, it's going down. Yeah. Both of them are kind of going down parallel to each other.
Yeah.
Then the other school districts here, right about here, Kevin. Right here, wherever something happened on this date.
Yeah, wasn't that Malia Cohen? Was that her name?
Yeah.
Went?
She's still there.
Yeah. Okay.
Just go down. Malia Cohen was the one that was running on the anti-police platform, defund the police, now suddenly, she just recently, in the last 2 months, approved a massive budgetary increase and granted the police heretofore unheard of authority to purchase technologies that have not been approved so that they can surveil the people of San Francisco. We did cover that.
It bothers me that I know more about some local politics in San Fran fucking Cisco than I do my own area sometimes.
But the Gestapo, Kevin, they're starting on the West Coast and they're working their way the East Coast and the West Coast, and they're going to work their way towards the middle eventually, Kevin. You know that, right? They're going to
mark something or other.
Slog but look, San Francisco institutes a vaping ban, a flavor ban, and then suddenly, look at this. Cigarette use is no longer declining. It's sort of staying here, and then kablam, like a rocket to the moon. It goes up.
Like the wild, wild west.
Yeah. So then on February 5, he also says, these results suggest that the Massachusetts flavor ban and tax did not reduce cigarette consumption, blah, blah, blah. And then there's another graph. And then on February 5, 2022, we estimate about 3 million additional cigarette packs have been sold during the period of the temporary bans that would not have been sold otherwise. There's some research and stuff that you can read. For Nova Scotia's 2021 financial statements display a dramatic increase in cigarette sales. Tax revenue was 11.5 million, or 5.9% higher than the estimated primary, due to an increase of 5.6% in the consumption of cigarettes. More cigarettes, please, because we need the money. Cigarette sales in states banning ends were significantly higher. A full ban on ends was associated with an increased cigarette sales of 7.5% in Massachusetts. Banning non-tobacco flavored ends was associated with a 4.6% increase in cigarette sales.
So
you see that?
Just so far, to recap just those tweets, banning less smoking increases regular cigarette smoking.
No. Banning vaping, not less smoking. Banning a safer product, increases cigarette sales. Yes.
Yeah, they're banning less smoking. They don't want people to smoke less. They want.
I got you now. Yeah.
It's a play on words, Zippy.
It was too complex for the chucklehead to absorb, Kevin. Only 16 states saw increases in their cigarette excise tax revenues. Further, all states with increases, the average increase was 4.4%, whereas in Massachusetts, border states with increases, the average increase was 10.6%. Woo! More money.
Doing a New Hampshire run.
Flavored tobacco sales restrictions were not associated with decreases in current or ever e-cigarette use among high school students in California, Bay Area 1 year post. See, because the kids can still get it.
But I thought that would help the kids if they banned it.
Yeah, let's ban it so the kids can not get it, Kevin.
Do you see how comprehensive Phil is and how specific he can be?
Sometimes he's actually able to, form cohesive thought.
Between munching on insects? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know.
Saying, Sometimes he's just got nuts in his mouth, though, Kevin's all
He might be afraid of cats. I don't know.
Yeah. 14% switch to combustible products like cigarettes, and 5% switch to smokeless tobacco. Less than 5% of respondents quit using e-cigarettes after the FDA ban. Rochester, University of Rochester. After the implementation of the FDA flavor enforcement policy for the 3,533 current adult e-cigarette users, 14.12% switched to combustible products.
What?
Yeah.
Please keep smoking.
You ban my safer product, I'm going to go back to the cigarettes.
I'm laughing.
Rates declined more significantly in states without flavor bans. Nova Scotia's 2020 decision to ban all flavor vapors or flavor. Oh my God! They can't spell vapor or flavors over there in the Nova Scotia.
You know how them people are.
They just add that superfluous U, and it really throws everything off. Nova Scotia's 2020 decision to ban all vapor flavors except tobacco and mint, according to their own public accounts reporting tax revenue from cigarette products, then rose by 14% in 2021 because we need that tobacco tax money, Kevin. 2020, September 21 of 2023, cigarette sales were largely unchanged except for in Massachusetts, where cigarette sales, particularly those smoked by young people, rose temporarily after a total ban on e-cigarette sales. ENDS flavor policies reduced flavored end sales as intended, but also increased cigarette sales across age groups. Cigarettes are much more lethal than ENDS. Any product or population health benefits of ENDS flavor policies are likely small and even negative.
They're everywhere. So, have you hit a point where we haven't already covered this?
No. Everything here is stuff that we've been screaming for about 10, 15 years, Kevin.
Yeah. Okay. I'm checking because I don't like saying I told you so.
I do. I enjoy it immensely. One of these days, I'm going to get called in front of Congress, and I'm just going to repeatedly say, I fucking told you so.
And I'm going to say, what
and
the fuck
I'm a
did I tell you?
chucklehead, and I'm smarter than you.
You just idiots. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Like we didn't
Under
know.
both real-world and hypothetical e-cigarette flavor bans, most who use flavored e-cigarettes continue vaping. Under a real-world ban, the second most common response amongst those who exclusively vape is to switch to smoking. Die. That's all they're saying. Die, gasping for air. We're going to take away your thing that keeps you from smoking. We want you to buy cigarettes so you can die.
I was in the Twitter verse quite a while back, and I don't honestly recall who it was or who the group was or who the head monkey was or whatever. Don't tell them that you're going to go back to cigarettes. Well, why? I didn't understand that. Go ahead. Keep going.
Well, this is the last one. This is the most recent one. This is from June 28th of 2024, Kevin. It says, cigarette sales were decreasing before flavored e-cigarette ban, but after significantly increased until June of 2022. This is New Jersey's 2020 e-cigarette flavor ban on e-cigarette Yeah. So this is in response to their ban. So cigarette sales were slowly going down.
Yeah.
But then they banned e-cigarettes, flavored e-cigarettes. And then what? Oh, look, significant increase.
So
after the flavor ban in New Jersey.
You're making headway. And then you realize, oh shit, we're making headway. We can't be doing that. Because
we're losing money too quickly.
Losing revenue. So when people say it's keep smoking, we need the money. That's what it is. It's part of the game. Now, the other part of this tweet specifically is, other than the obvious part of having this man crush on Phil, or this rodent crush, if you will, is that we have told them and we have receipts and we can prove to them what we've already told them will happen. And then we have the receipts where it happens. And Phil, God love you, he is very meticulous, is probably a better word than whatever I used earlier, on showing exactly. He didn't cuss, he didn't make any noise. He just said, here's the facts, here's the quote, here's the whatever. Oh, looky there. It's my favorite man right there.
The chocolate fanatic is here.
Other than Davey and the other ones. But yeah, so when you don't follow Phil, you're missing out, and yeah, there it is. In black and white and green and every other freaking color.
Phil just said thank you for the honor and the kind words.
Get back in your hole.
Get back to work.
Whoever you are.
Phil.
I want to know who it is. I don't.
So Kevin, I again in my efforts to scratch up tweets about stuff that does not fall inside of our neighborhood and our circle of friends, I found Henry today.
Hello, neighbor.
And Henry says, WTF, we've been entirely blaming nicotine for addiction when it's been the MAOIs and tobacco doing most of the heavy lifting all along.
No kidding. Where did you find this? Was it on Twitter?
It's on X, Kevin. Right here on X. I found it. Henry Henry has decided to post about MAOIs in tobacco. Kevin, when did you discover that there were MAOIs in tobacco, Kevin?
Probably. I started the path probably a year and a half in, maybe 2.
So I have done.
See my.
I can probably go back in time and find a Vaping Militia Radio podcast from like 2015 or so, but I've been pretty aware of this situation since about 2014. So about 10 years we've been talking about MAOIs that are in tobacco, and that the FDA actually has an amount that's allowed to legally be in there.
Oh yeah.
So MAOIs are antidepressants for y'all. They really enforce a really nice dopamine level. So you get a little bit of a dopamine push from the MAOIs that are not in the nicotine, but are in the other constituents that appear when you combust tobacco. They're not adding MAOIs. Let's be clear. Tobacco people are not they're not adding MAOIs, but the MAOIs happen organically during the product of combustion, and they're allowed to be in there. But when they say that nicotine is as addictive as heroin, it's nicotine in conjunction with the MAOIs, other experiential things that occur during the combustion process. And even then, I would still argue that smoking is still not as addictive as being a heroin addict. But that's the buzzword that they like to say, Kevin. But here, from Wikipedia,
is a patsy. Go ahead.
So it says here, Guillaume, Wikipedia summarizes, Guillaume, and there's an et al. There, as technically nicotine is not significantly addictive, as nicotine administered alone does not produce significant reinforcing properties. We had Dr. Charles Gardner on the show years ago to explain the situation where they have to negatively impact rodents in a scientific environment to make them push the button that self-administers nicotine to the rodents. They have to separate them from their community. Rats are very communal creatures. Yeah. They have to stress them out, hyper stress them out by putting them in a negative environment, by shaking the container they're in, by doing all sorts of things so that they stress the poor rodent out to the point where it has to push the button to stop you doing all the other things, because they know all this negative stuff that I'm experiencing will go away if I hit the button. So
and Glance will stop looking at my tail. Because that's what happens.
So we already know that. So the addictiveness comes from the MAOIs, and again, Khalil et al.'s and possibly other compounds present in tobacco, while there don't seem to be many human studies aside from the Amsterdam study that their review of the observed inhibition in smokers consistent with the MAOIs played a role in addiction, and there are a number of significant animal studies. Yes, we knew that. And then there's a screenshot of the Guillaume, but there's in here they're quoting like 4 different studies, but I saw this and I was like, oh yeah, here's a normie that doesn't know anything about our world finally spreading the fact that the MAOIs are there.
Yeah.
So I have hearted, and I will repost. Let me repost.
It's me, Janine. It's me.
Right here on the show.
So I did a nicotine challenge, and this is, I think it's 2016, or it might have been 17 maybe, but I wrote that in, that was my conclusion, nicotine's not addictive, May of 2017. Now, I had worked on that part where it was a challenge to anybody in public health to show it to me, And Chris Price of e-cigarette politics was one of those people. There were I think there were 3 others along with Ann, helping with the wording, making sure that everything was correct. And then we raised $400 for e-cigarette research with
Keep talking for a minute.
Okay. And then nobody came to the challenge and said, well, this is this. And within the stipulations of, I think it was 3% of the study, it had to be easily accessible, publicly accessible. It couldn't be in a drywall, a paywall. And no one, and I will repeat this proudly, no one proved me otherwise, me or anyone else. And had they proved me otherwise, the same people who were donating to this cause were either going to help fund research. We only raised, if I remember right, like $400. It wasn't a lot, but it was something. And Dr. Farsalinas thanked you and me and everybody else that was involved. But they didn't come to the conclusion that it was. There were a couple tries, and one of the things that stuck out the most was when I asked Mr. Price about this to keep me honest, because I'm not a mathematician, of course, well known. I don't math.
That's why we have calculators.
Right. And I don't like those either. So they kept me honest in that part, because I didn't want to go, well, I don't like the way this looks. And what he said, which piqued my brain's little power that I have, he said, maybe we'll find something new we haven't seen yet. And I thought, oh, that's brilliant. So yeah, Agent Anya edited as well, but and then I did the nicotine's not addictive thing in top secret form, and it's pretty much been my tweet pinned since. The site changed as far as the URL, but it's been up there ever since. I think it came down one time because of that, but I think it was 2017. So we've known. Look at you, the MAO. How come I can see that one? Oh, no, okay, there it goes. Clusterfuck. It's a clusterfuck. Do you see what Mallory's been sneaking around, or has she been here the whole time?
Mallory's been here. She's the third person here tonight, Kevin. Our friend Michelle was the first person. Then Jason, and then Mallory got to be third. And she said, I don't care if I'm third as long as I learn something or there's some good content, which we guarantee.
Well, you're either going to bore you to death.
There will be something good that we talk about on every show.
While we're on the MAOI, just to calm my nerves, because you know how I get a little fidgety. There's sugar, dextrose, whatever, in tobacco, in its manufacturing, in its burning, if it's whatever. So when a body goes through sugar withdrawal, right? Isn't that pretty much the same as what could be construed as nicotine, right?
What?
I don't. Go ahead, tell me.
This is not a scientific study that we will talk about. We will show on the show. However, Kevin, there are people. So obviously, sugars exist in nature.
Yes.
If you buy a banana, there's sugars in it. If you buy an apple, there's sugars in it. Those are natural sugars that occur in nature.
More than you think.
It's the processed powdered, sugar, which is not good for you, which is not. So, there are studies that are showing that people that cut out added sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting rid of all of the confections, getting rid of candies, getting rid of anything that has sugar in it.
Right.
Over a period of time, their body rebels. Their body has, they have to get used to it. But then after about a year of no sugars, no added sugars, when they ingest something that has added sugar in it, their body goes into a sort of anaphylaxis sort of response. There are people that go in that get hospitalized.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, sugar is a poison, Kevin.
Well, yeah, we could have gone that.
Added sugar, processed sugar,
Right.
Not that I would ever stop, but if you do, and then you do take sugar afterwards, like there was one thing that I was reading, a whole family, like the mom, the dad, the kids, they were the parents enforced a complete sugar ban. And then a year later, one of them had a birthday. The youngest one had a birthday party, and they said, well, it's his birthday. We should let him have a birthday cake. Uh-oh. So they went and got a birthday cake. Obviously, the icing on a birthday cake is almost 100% sugar.
Yeah, that's
and
bad.
All 4 of them were hospitalized.
Wow. So all I'm saying is
Janine is rebelling because that would mean a ban on chocolate. Now, pure chocolate doesn't have sugar in it. It's when you buy a candy bar, it's all the ingredients in.
We ain't banning no chocolates.
No, Chris is here. We can't do that. Or he was here. I don't know if he's still here or not. But Chris was here. We can't ban chocolate because he thinks that chocolate is life. It's an entire food group, according to him.
Well, it is. It really is. Well, anyway, it ain't the nicotine. Nicotine's a patsy. Them men stood up there and went, I testify that nicotine is not addictive. Because they did tell the truth and they did know fucking better. But
Kevin, they subpoenaed big tobacco, but they have not subpoenaed big sugar.
Never. But they want to tax sugar, do they not? They want to ban it.
Bloomberg did.
Right. So there you go.
But that didn't happen.
Right. So, yeah.
Somebody grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and said, "You can't do that."
But it's the big soda instead of the big sugar. They're passing it off. There's always a patsy somewhere.
Now do big salt. Well, salt is a commodity that has been very important for thousands of years. The Roman army used to pay their soldiers in salt.
You're not worth your salt.
It's very important.
Right. So yeah, that's where that came from, right? You're not worth your salt.
Yes.
The exact phrase, but your body needs it doesn't.
Oh yeah, no, your body needs sodium. It
requires sodium
to make a muscle contraction. You need 1 molecule of sodium for the action potential. It decreases the action potential for a muscle contraction. Right. So, again, I can throw my background, my science, biology. So to create a muscle contraction, you need 1 molecule of sodium to decrease the action potential so that it doesn't require the voltage. So if you're sodium deficient, your muscle contractions become weaker, even your cardiac muscle, everything becomes weaker. So you need some sodium, which can come naturally. It occurs in some foods. There's already sodium in some things, but you can't completely get rid of it. But also that's why when you have high blood pressure, they tell you to cut your sodium intake, not to stop completely, but to reduce your sodium intake because your cardiac muscle is firing too hard, increasing the blood pressure.
Right. Thanks for coming to our health and yeah. TED Talk.
So
we're boring them. Let's move on.
Back to a different writer at Reason. Reason's been kicking ass and taking names this week.
Is this who I really like to?
No, it's Sophia Hamilton. Banning flavored tobacco products doesn't work. We have the trash to prove it. Professor Patrick. I should start a second show just called Professor Patrick, where we talk about weird science. Actually, Kevin.
What? No.
The Rumble portion of tonight's show has some really freaky, scary science in it tonight.
Oh, good Lord.
It's also gonna make you think that Terminator's coming, that Skynet's gonna happen soon. But anyway, researchers examined garbage placed in public receptacles in Washington, D.C. and New York City and found that the locals' bans on flavored tobacco products have unquestionably failed. Because those convenience stores are still selling those illicit vape products that asshole in Nevada is blaming on vape shops. In recent years, Massachusetts, New York, California, and Washington, D.C. have all implemented bans on flavored tobacco products in an attempt to reduce smoking rates among younger populations. Let's ban vaping so that smoking goes down.
That's right.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah,
Despite if they're going to ban anything, shouldn't they ban cigarettes completely, Kevin?
Shh, are you talking out of school? Do you need to be? That'd be two demerits. Just for saying.
Again, as a freedom-loving libertarian, I say, fuck that. The government shouldn't be telling anybody what to do. But if they're saying that they're going to ban something to reduce youth smoking, shouldn't it be the cigarettes?
They didn't do that in Australia. I haven't heard a word.
No, that's true. Despite these bans, flavored tobacco products are still easily accessible, and it's never been more apparent. Walk into the nearest convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
Convenience store, Kevin, and you'll likely find an assortment of flavored tobacco products to choose from: strawberry, banana, blue raspberry, spearmint, black cherry. Whether or not your city or state bans these products, they'll likely be fully stocked and at your disposal. In 2021, the D.C. Council banned the sale of flavored tobacco products within a quarter mile of middle schools and high schools. New York City took steps to further by banning the sale of flavored tobacco products throughout its 5 boroughs. Yet, citywide bans on the sale and purchase of flavored tobacco products have utterly failed. 2 new studies conducted by the market researcher WSPM Group show just how many tobacco products are being consumed and disposed of in Washington, D.C. and New York City. Researchers went through the trash in the 2 cities and found that over 99% of the vapes collected from the urban trash cans were flavored products, despite consumers in those cities being barred from legally purchasing those products. And then there's a weird picture of somebody taking a body scan. Something similar happened when Massachusetts banned menthol cigarettes in 2019. Proponents of the ban argued that it would lower smoking rates among black adults, the primary consumers of menthol tobacco products. In reality, the prevalence of smoking among black adults increased after the ban was implemented, as did the sale of menthol cigarettes in surrounding states.
Yeah.
So, Kevin,
you know what I want to see? I want to see pictures of these researchers pulling trash bags out and picking through them. That's what I want to see, because didn't they hire their little children, give them a pizza, and say, "Hey, go get that trash can"?
Yeah.
That's probably
now. While you were away, Kevin, we extensively critiqued, edited, reviewed, reacted to, commented on the hearing that Dick Durbin and his Republican cohort from North Carolina had while you were away.
The Cigarette Protection Act, yeah.
One of the things, the visual aids that Dick Durbin held up was a photograph blown up to like 36 by 48, mounted on foam core, of flavored vape products at a convenience store just half a mile away from the FDA in Silver Springs, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And he was raising hell because all of those products were disposable vaping products from China. And I made a comment that, because again, he was saying all of these are child appealing flavors, blueberry, strawberry, blah, 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 blah. And I made a joke that somebody should take that picture of him and replace the photograph of the disposable vape products and make a meme by replacing the photograph of the disposable vape products and insert a picture of the display case from a cheesecake factory. Because if you've ever been to the Cheesecake Factory, Kevin, they have a display case full of flavored cheesecake products with fruits and chocolates and all sorts of
I wonder how many of them are next to the FDA.
And Jason actually did.
Did he?
do it for me. And you know,
I'm doing with cigarettes for me.
Jason and I talk a lot, so I'm having to scroll a lot here to get to it.
I need Durbin holding that thing with cigarettes.
There it is. Blink. Well, he wasn't holding it; he had a staffer holding it. But here, let me present this one real quick. Oh, I don't have to hit a present button. I just hit this button right here. But kablam!
I don't know where my camera
There it is. So you know, Dick Durbin is pointing at the vape flavors, but all of the, you know, there's strawberries here, there's yummy chocolates and all these nice flavored things.
Well, yeah.
This all occurred while you were gone.
I was ignoring. I wasn't really gone. I was just ignoring you.
Yeah, I know you were still at home. But you know,
What is the deal from my?
But Michelle Elliott is asking, doesn't potassium do? Isn't that what potassium does? No, potassium does not affect the action potential. Potassium is necessary for the health of your muscles, but it is not necessary for the action potential of your muscle. Blink. Different, but also important. I am not going to read the rest of this, Kevin, but I just wanted you to see, and obviously, if you look any one of these hypertext links, I do like how these people do that. These hypertext links, you can open it up and it actually will take you to what they're referring to. So that gives you you know, more little rabbit holes. These are the rabbit holes that you must sometimes fall into. Kevin is in backstage. He dropped out.
I don't know where my camera went. It just stopped working. I don't
know. I thought you were trying to share something. It looked like you were trying to share something for a second, and then
I have no idea.
And then you just disappeared.
I have no idea.
You just disappeared.
Sad little dick world.
But yes, what a little what? What did you say?
Sad, little dick, what? Mr. Durbin. So Jason, if you don't mind, like a display of cigarettes when you get a chance, no rush.
Yeah, but
I wish I could.
We have here, Kevin. You know, I have a hate boner. In a lot of cases for
what did you just say?
For a hate boner. Hate boner.
I don't want to know that you have any kind of...
Now, Festus.
I've never heard that term before.
Festus says that Brussels sprouts are unnecessary. Now, let me tell you this about Brussels sprouts, young man. Brussels sprouts are awesome if you saute them in bacon fat with chunks of bacon in there.
Yeah.
They're not superfluous and yes. Brussels sprouts are awesome in that situation. I'm just, you know, I will defend Brussels sprouts. And the same thing with asparagus. If you take a couple asparagus spears and you wrap them in bacon and you put them in the oven,
and then they're fine.
Then they're amazing.
Well, pretty much you put almost, except for chocolate, anything in chocolate or bacon, it'll work.
Well,
but you can't put
I have actually had bacon chocolate before, Kevin.
That don't sound bad. Yeah.
Now, if you this is the thing, you have to coat your bacon in brown sugar and put them in the oven and cook them. You don't want to put them in. You want all the drippings to go into a pan, and then you cool them and then dip them in chocolate.
See, now we're the Food Network. Look at that. See how you guys just benefit from us.
Always listen to the fat guy about the best ways.
The fat guy. Oh my goodness.
Always listen to the fat guy. And Janine says chocolate and bacon is fabulous. Fabulous, she says.
I've never had it. And after I said it, I thought, wait a minute, that actually sounds like it's like cashew and chocolate. Just whoever invented that is just
I could actually eat like an entire 5-pound container of cashews without even thinking
once.
about it. Like
Yeah,
cashews are just there. They're just like innocuous. You just keep dropping them. Next thing you know,
I'm a handful
you've eaten
guy.
5 pounds of
I
cashews.
I just do a handful and I move on with my hour day.
Oh no, it's the saltiness. Once that you get that, then you're just like, oh, I need more. It's like potato chips.
No, I'm not a big chip guy either.
Now James is just being facetious and gross in there. Chocolate covered Brussels sprouts that's just not right. But anyway, back to my hate booner of teachers here. Teachers accused of vaping and closing kids in closets in Nashville daycare. Kevin.
Jesus. What?
Now let me know if you get audio when I hit play here. There's probably going to be a commercial.
I'll thumbs up you. That doesn't sound right, but
it's not doing anything.
Hello to this glorious morning in nature.
Oh, good.
Can you feel the energy? The verve, the giddy thrill at waking up and being alive. And
I don't have a skip button, but I'm going to hit this button.
What was that?
It's a commercial.
I wonder these people are wrong.
Yeah.
Nature prunes. That's what that was. Well, now I can't hear shit.
Now I've paused it so that I can turn the volume back on.
Else tonight, WSMV4 has been investigating safety concerns at mid-state daycares. And tonight, we're learning more about the Nashville facility that was shut down in April when a teacher brought a loaded gun to school. Our Carly Gordon started asking questions right after it happened. She learned parents...
All right, so the headline says they're accused of vaping and closing kids into closets, but now they're talking about bringing a gun in.
And what is with her outfit? That looks strangely something else-esque. Go ahead.
Well, it's the pink with the black stripes, and there's a zipper down the middle. I'm not a fashionista, but shouldn't the zipper be in like the back?
I would, but anyway.
I mean, this is too much easy access right here. I'm just saying.
All I'm saying is, it looks strange to me, and
Janine says it looks kind of dominatrixy, but
I was thinking BDSM or something.
I'm kind of weirded out about the zipper in the front. Yeah. This just seems like too much easy access. Like that's.
It's just a strange outfit for a newscaster. I just find that odd.
And teachers had been filing complaints long before police were ever called.
It's the text no parent ever wants to receive. Terrifying. The Academy of McCrory Lane was put on lockdown. Police were called out to the scene. But it wasn't until she watched the news that night that Whitney Walter learned a teacher was arrested, accused of bringing a loaded gun and making threats to shoot up her child's preschool.
No organization should.
Now, again, the headline says vaping.
Yeah, where's the vaping at?
Shouldn't it say, teacher brings a gun to daycare and locks kids in the closet? No.
Oh, it
teacher brought a
crowd.
vape. Teacher brought a vape.
You got the anti-gun crowd. You got the anti-vape crowd, Patrick. Try to please keep each one in order separately from your brain.
I'm still waiting for the word on the vape. I mean, we're a third of the way in.
Fucking stenographer.
Outrageous way.
Unable to get answers, Walter started a petition on April 24th demanding a town hall with the director. The next day, she says her 3-year-old was kicked out.
I did see the word vape there. Let me
3-year-old was kicked out.
Let me scroll.
The next day, she says her 3-year-old was kicked
so
town
fast.
hall with the director.
There, workers are vaping inside the school. That's highlighted. Now, again, let's get our priorities here, boys and girls.
My God.
There was a gun. There's a gun. It's that fucking Gingers again, Kevin.
Fucking. Oh my God.
You're one of the good ones, Kevin.
You're
one of the good ones.
I collect souls and they turn into freckles.
So,
oh my fucking word.
Workers are vaping inside the school. They pull their sleeves over their arm and hide the vapes and hit it that way.
And they just expose their weapons when they
Yes. A gun, Kevin. Loaded gun.
It's a handgun, right?
Now, Kevin, again, they said that she brandished the firearm and said that she would shoot up the daycare. Now, I myself, as a lover of firearms and want my child protected, I would not care if the person that had the gun wasn't crazy. I would like, somebody that's intelligent and able to use the gun properly to be able to defend my child if some crazy person came in there with a gun. So the answer is if this person came in with a gun and started brandishing it, if a different person in there had a gun, now it could traumatize my child to see it happen, but I would love that there be somebody in there with another firearm that is intelligent and smart and knows how to use the gun properly to shoot the person in the head to prevent them from killing children.
Well, then you could explain to the child that it was a room temperature challenge and make it scientific, and then that would be a lesson.
I'm just saying, I would be glad if there was somebody there to counter the crazy person. A sane person with a gun could counter the crazy person with a gun.
We haven't got
That's
far
all I'm
enough.
saying, Kevin.
I'm
but
curious
again, this is about vaping because the headline said it's about vaping. It's not about the weird situation where a crazy woman showed up to work with a gun.
I'm thinking she's so mad at them vaping in the closet that she brought her gun. I don't know. We haven't got that far, but it could be.
Yeah, let's do that.
The next day, she says her 3-year-old was kicked out.
She said,
Kicked
"That's
out?
right. I'm disenrolling your daughter. I will refund you this week's daycare. Please come get your daughter. Goodbye." And she hangs up on me.
A sort of blessing in disguise for Walter, who got a head start on searching for alternative care. Because one day later, the Academy of McCrory Lane was shut down by the Department of Human Services, and more than 100 families were left in the lurch.
So as of Friday morning, every parent at that facility had no child care.
We filed an open records request with DHS and found that parents and teachers had concerns for months. Among the complaints that were filed with DHS, teachers cussing at kids, sleeping on the job, and lying about changing diapers when they hadn't. With no proof, DHS determined those complaints to be unfounded. But there were also complaints about teachers vaping in classrooms.
Well, they were finally there.
Yeah.
We're almost 2/3 of the way through.
Jesus Christ.
The gun
people have died before this fucking
Now,
statement.
Kevin, they mentioned the woman brandishing a gun at the very beginning.
Oh my God.
One time so far, they've only mentioned the gun one time at the very beginning. And then obviously they don't have spell checker because I'm just glancing over here, glancing out of the corner of my eye, and I see 2 typos right away.
Oh.
Announced without an N, vaping with an extra P. Just,
We're vaping. It's like fapping, only it's with a V. Jason, calm down. That's why he's on the show. Yeah,
and locking kids in closets.
And place with an extra P.
DHS investigated and found those things were happening, and the daycare implemented safety plans as a result.
Isn't someone watching that? Isn't someone see that there's someone putting babies in the closet?
Isn't that your job as a parent to vet the place where you're leaving your child? Like do surprise visits? Hey, I'm just driving by. Is my kid okay? Did you change my diaper? Did you change their diaper today? Are they, shouldn't you?
Just
saying.
Janice and I are not the only child care of our grandchild, but both parents who are not together, they only have a couple of people that watch that boy. And there's plenty of reasons, and here's another.
So, I've been on here really, really critical of teachers in public school. I'm not, you guys know, if I'm going to be as hypercritical and attentive to the school, I'm going to be fucking double checking these motherfuckers. I'm going to be going like at least once every couple days. Hey, is my kid okay?
I encourage whatever the cam is, not a spy cam, but like an open camera.
Yeah, they should have a fucking public website on. They should have a camera on their Facebook. obviously
Full access.
not where they're going to clean the kid, because you don't want to have,
No, only for the parents. Only, not for the fucking pervs. I'm talking about parents that have children that should not. The fucking public, as in you and I, can access it. I don't need to fucking access it. But if I have a child in your daycare,
transparency aside, transparency is a big important thing. If I were to open, not that I would ever open a daycare, but that, the idea that, like, I do healthcare, Kevin. I go into patients' homes to deliver healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of those situations, the children have put up, and they have a thing saying, "Hey, you're on camera." In the not nursing homes, but in the assisted living and independent living setting, it's required that they have a sign saying, "Hey, you're on camera. Don't do anything you're not supposed to." I myself think that that's silly. I think you should do the best that you can do, whether there's a fucking camera there or not. But you should assume that you're being watched all the time.
In a past life, in a major security firm that I worked for, I'm at someone's home, and I was servicing one part of the system, and they said, "Hey, we'd like to upgrade. Y'all got cameras?" And I said, "We do." And the father was elderly, and I mean barely mobile. And she said, we have that camera right there. And I looked at it, and I'm like, wow, I'd have never seen it. And she said, well, it's a public place, which we couldn't put in clandestine stuff anyway. But she said, we caught a healthcare provider being I don't know what to call them, but they just come in and help you. It's not
a provider,
of something, not like you do, but
no, a provider, somebody that comes in that sits with your parents and takes them to the bathroom and make sure they take their pills, and
they could see down the hall. They could barely, but they could see down the hall. They saw that the provider went into the bedroom, out of the bedroom. The person was trying to come out of the bedroom, fell onto the floor, and laid there for almost 4 hours.
Wow.
4 hours.
That is patient abandonment. That is there's so many different charges you could put on that situation. If that person was still in the house,
they press charges. All I can say is you can't put them in a bathroom in a professional setting. What you do after we leave was up to you, but you can't have that asked for. We can't do that, they. But yeah, why can't I watch where my grandson is at his daycare, or the parents can just anytime check in?
Yeah,
why not?
I think that should be a standard as far as I'm concerned,
for the
especially
parents.
For children and minors that can't
Right.
speak for themselves. I mean, if they're talking about kids that need to be changed, these are probably children that can't communicate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're
and
still
elderly.
babies.
Same
Or
idea
toddlers.
as elderly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Logan's
WSMB4
not
has learned a group
able.
called Never Grow Up Inc. owns the Academy of McCrory Lane. They also own several other facilities all across the mid-state. We called, but before we could ask a question, the person that answered said, "No comment, I don't talk to the news," and hung up. It's raising even more concerns for parents like Walter, who think their experiences and the documented issues here at the Academy of McCrory speak to
There you
a
go, Jason.
larger problem.
There's not enough childcare for parents.
It means
Well, the parents are supposed to do that ultimately. I mean, I know that we live in a society now where it's hard.
Well,
you can't, you gotta have a 2-person income to survive now, but you should still, like I said, pop in and check on them. But again, the headline here: teachers accused of vaping, closing kids in closets at daycare. They still haven't mentioned closing the kids in the closet. And the headline doesn't fucking mention that one of the employees came to work, brandished a firearm, and threatened to shoot up the place. So where is your fucking priority? Vaping, apparently, is the big boogeyman that people are afraid of, and not the fact that a crazy woman showed up to work with a gun.
Follow the narrative, Patrick.
I mean,
Right.
I've lost my fucking mind, Kevin.
Here you
about the
found
nonsense
yet another piece of fucking propaganda that makes no sense to either of us, and we consider ourselves
There's no
chuckleheads,
logic
however,
in the
we're
reporting here,
intelligent.
Kevin.
No.
There's no logic in the reporting here.
The only good thing is that Jason's gonna sleep well tonight, probably.
Man,
So there you
man.
go.
Chris is back. His wife was showing him
What?
stupid TikTok videos.
He is she related to my son?
I don't even have TikTok, Kevin. I've never ever
I got banned, and I don't know
watched
why.
TikTok videos.
Probably Chris's
I'm
fault.
sure that I probably would not be welcome on that application, but and we don't have the ability to broadcast there. We are currently broadcasting on 5 different platforms. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Rumble. In a little bit, we will only be on Rumble in a little while.
You don't often tout your own horn, thankfully, and we are the #1 show on Friday nights globally. I mean,
I would
we're
love to be able to toot my own
intergalactically,
horn,
really,
Kevin, but
Huh?
I'm just not flexible enough.
Well, if you look at that redhead, maybe Jason will give you some pointers, and you can move on with your day. Either way,
My spine
#1
doesn't
show.
bend that way.
#1 show in the world right now.
Nobody else can beat us in this time shot.
Global leaders in science and research we've had.
I mean, I challenge you, Kevin. I challenge you to watch any other vaping podcast / live stream / whatever the fuck we are, and find anybody else that focuses on the science as much as we do. That focuses on the actual no opinions.
Yeah.
We have an anti-vaping media rule. We don't share articles from vape magazines and stuff. We only focus on actual academic sources and reputable agencies.
We've made multiple predictions.
And all of our predictions have come true.
We've called things out, and we love you. You know, you being those people, not you. I don't like you. I never did, and you don't know any better.
Well, again, it has no added sugar. Let's be clear, Chris.
Neither do you.
Chocolate does have sugars in it, just not the natural.
I love Chris almost as
processed,
much as I love chocolate.
Yeah,
and coffee. I like coffee better.
Unless you're getting like super sweet chocolates, you know, there's dark chocolates and there's different variations and so forth and so on.
Chris, I think Chris and I should go to a chocolate, like a bar with chocolate, just like.
I know that he's very close to San Francisco. He is in Oakland, and they have a Ghirardelli factory in San Francisco and a Ghirardelli store because I've been in there.
California is not on my list.
Nope. I really, one of these days, I hope that all of our friends in California finally get smart enough to leave California. Just saying. Eventually they're going to smarten up and get the fuck out of there. Realize that they could live almost anywhere.
Ed being on parole
half, if not a quarter, of what it costs for them to live in California.
Ed's parole violation would be too much for him to handle at his age.
You know, even when you're on parole, you can leave. You just got to get permission, and you got to make arrangements to transfer your parole supervision to a different place. It can happen. Say, hey, I gotta move for my job. I gotta move for my whatever. I'm moving away from all the bad influences. I want to move here. Find me a parole officer there, and they'll do it. They'll do it. I promise you, it happens all the fucking time.
Well,
but
I'm
Kevin,
in Ohio, so
speaking of scientific research and academic sources and stuff, you sent us a brand new study that was just recently published. It's still not even open yet, so that I can't access this is accepted manuscript level here. It's a journal article from the Nicotine and Tobacco Research Journal of the SRNT.
Remember the old days when you Your teacher passed it out and you went, oh, it's that fresh right now.
That's from the mimeograph machine.
Yeah, buddy. So I'll let you read it, and then I want to watch the chat. I actually am going to leave these on because I have you guys minimized a little bit because I just don't understand.
Okay. So it says here, reaction to a nicotine reduction policy among adolescents who smoke, a qualitative study. Now,
who?
Qualitative.
Adolescents? Underage? What?
Well,
sorry.
Qualitative study, Kevin. Let's. Qualitative is different than quantitative. Quantitative is measurements of numbers. Qualitative is experiential, and it's about you do assign a numeric value when you're putting it into the software to crunch the numbers, but it's more based on experience and what the ratings are among the people that are participating.
Chris, delete that comment, will you? He doesn't need to know that.
Here, I'm gonna flash that shit up on screen right there.
I don't even know why you're calling him that. What is wrong with you? Are you on a chocolate buzz?
Yeah. So it says here, let's just read the intro here. The Biden administration is pursuing a nicotine reduction policy in the U.S. to render cigarettes less addictive. That's actually not. It wasn't originated during the Biden administration. That's from King Gottlieb. He was the one that was the proponent, the original proponent of reducing nicotine levels in combustible cigarettes to unaddictive numbers or unaddictive. In this study, we qualitatively investigated adolescents' subjective responses to VLNCs, reasons for incomplete adherence to using them, and their expected responses to a nicotine reduction policy. So then these are the participants of the study. Adolescents who smoke cigarettes daily were enrolled in a 3-week double-blind randomized controlled trial and assigned to smoke either regular normal nicotine cigarettes or VLNCs. So Kevin,
what?
Kevin,
what?
they were asking minors, people that is illegal for them to smoke, these 15 to 19-year-old children. They were suggesting to them, hey, we need you to smoke. And here's regular cigarettes, and we're going to, here's some not regular cigarettes, and we're going to double blind you so that neither one of you nobody knows who got what.
I'm not sure if this is from a previous study that I already have in my arsenal, or if this is a whole new one, it's been done before if it isn't. Anyway, I'll let go on.
So there are 60 participants only in this study, Kevin. That's what N is. N means that there's 60 participants. So they had 60 young people aged 15 to 19. They said to some of them, it said to all of them, here's some cigarettes. But they didn't tell them that half of them got regular cigarettes and the other half got the reduced nicotine cigarettes. And then they asked them questions about their experience, their opinions. These are subjective responses. These are the users' subjective responses. How do you feel? That's a subjective question. Following the trial, 52 participants completed the qualitative interviews. So 8 people that participate, 8 of these children, they were given free cigarettes, did not fill out their surveys. They got free cigarettes for 3 whole weeks, and just said, well, I smoked my free cigarettes for 3 weeks, but I'm not going to fill out your survey. But anyway,
thank you very much.
52 people completed the interviews about their reactions to the cigarettes and to the idea of nicotine reduction policy. We utilized a template-style approach to thematic analysis involving immersion in the data, codebook development with inductive and deductive codes, and iterative refinement of themes, Kevin. Now, again, we don't have access to all of the data points because this is not open. This is you have to pay to play. But it says here, reasons for incomplete adherence to smoking, only research cigarettes focused on dislike for cigarette taste and lower satisfaction compared to usual brand cigarettes. So they're saying we didn't adhere completely to your thing because your cigarettes that you gave us for free, we didn't like the way they tasted, and we didn't feel satisfied with those cigarettes. Negative evaluations of research cigarettes were common across both groups. Many participants in both groups reported they would decrease their smoking or quit entirely if the research cigarettes were the only ones available to purchase in the United States.
Legal ones. Continue.
Yeah, they said that they would either quit smoking or
no, they won't
smoke less if the only ones they had were these nasty ones that they didn't like.
Right.
So now here's your wiggle word there, Kevin. Adolescents may respond to a cigarette nicotine reduction policy by decreasing their cigarette smoking and eventually quitting. These findings suggest a need for public health strategies to reduce smoking initiation and progression in young people and to encourage cessation in the context of nicotine reduction policy. But then if you scroll down, Kev, here's some implications that are not included in the conclusion. These are things that they might have learned while reading the surveys. Participants' negative subjective responses and challenges with research cigarette adherence offer insight into factors that might influence young people's reactions to a real-world nicotine reduction policy.
Yeah.
So they're saying that we learned some things from their responses that may have implications if we were to institute this reduced nicotine cigarette product. Adolescents who smoke may increase their use of alternative tobacco products, especially e-cigarettes, if this policy were implemented.
Yeah.
Specifically, themes identified across participant responses highlighted important considerations for how such a policy might be implemented with specific attention to unique smoking behaviors and needs of this vulnerable population.
So, in conclusion for Kev, I read this and I thought they took underage children,
and gave them free cigarettes,
underage,
for 3 weeks,
handed them cigarettes. Now, I assume they were all smokers. People,
I would assume. Well,
let's pretend they were.
Okay.
And then they tried this, which is either the same one, only it's another section of the same thing I've already got, or it's a whole new fucking thing, because they've done this with Chantix and they've done it with cigarettes and they've done it with these before. And these children are undeveloped brains, of course. You're asking them to give opinions of what they would do, and they didn't really seem to factor in any illegal product at all after they got their opinion of, well, I probably would just stop, because bullshit. Because you already gave them the cigarettes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And again, adolescents who smoke cigarettes daily is what it did say, I think, 15 to 19, you're conducting illegal activity with children who are vulnerable, right?
Hey, Kev.
So anyway, that's all I got.
Kev,
what?
I really feel like we have the opportunity for another live tweet.
What really?
Opportunity here?
Can you?
Another learning, another example. I have to go over here though. Give me 1 second. 22nd century.
Oh. They're one of my favorite tweets that they answered that I don't share as often is that people who didn't plan to quit used our product and didn't quit because they didn't plan to quit. And I thought that was one of the funniest things that I had ever seen. But anyway, that's all FDA
if I can
authorized bullshit.
I can't remember what their Twitter handle is, Kevin.
Well, I could tell you. XXII, I think. I don't remember. Nope, that ain't it. Where are they? What'd they do? Their stock went down again. What'd they do? Quit? I don't know.
I'm trying to find them. I can't find them, Kevin.
I thought it was 22nd century. XXII. I thought it was in my shit that I do all the time. I have no idea.
Chris is still talking about Brussels sprouts.
Hold on.
I found them.
You got them? Okay. All right.
I found them.
All right. XXII?
Let me. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right. This is the right one. So I have.
Let me see.
I'm going to copy the link here. Copy. Now we're going to go over to X. I know you guys are really annoyed with us when we do this, but.
Are you going to tag SNRT as well?
I will. Yes.
XX.
I will.
Oh, it's a space XXII. Okay.
It's an underscore 22nd century.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Mallory, I don't know. I haven't looked in a couple weeks, 3, 4. I've been on vacation. I don't know.
All right. Here we go. Let's see.
While he's over there screwing around, it's up to 74 cents. Well, it's up 2 cents today. It looks like, or yesterday or whatever. 76.7458 now. I guess at close 28th.
Oh, I can't see.
After hours, it went up. One of the comments while what are you babbling about?
My keyboard for some reason sometimes will just skip a letter like while I'm going, and then I have to stop and go back and put it in. It pisses me off.
Oh, so I'm on Yahoo Finance for those of you who are really interested, and they're under XXII, I think. One of the comments is from someone who it's familiar, the name Dennis. I think I muted him. I think he was one of the Twitterers that would, tout them. And on the 17th of June, it says, this has to be the worst stock in the history of the exchange. Now, I don't know if that's him or not, but the comments, if you go through them, are pretty stunning. There's even a doctor that wants them to market them and, do all kinds of happy shit. So there. Excellent study. Look at you. SRNT. Yep. They were like $3 before, Mallory. They went up and then they were 20, and then they've gone up and down 3 times. They've been delisted or threatened to be delisted, I think, twice. This is their last shot, I think. And I believe Juca has more of that than I do because I've honestly stopped caring so much. But I do check on them on occasion because it's funny that we spent millions and billion dollars on them. The government wanted that to happen.
See, it just
prematurely
jumped. Did you see what it did?
I did not, sir. I did not. It's okay. You're allowed to struggle. Struggle is real.
Well, that's why I'm doing it on the computer so I can fix it.
Did I tell you Monkey's coming at 7:30 in the morning?
That's what you said, yeah.
That boy, he's just He knows everything. By the way, he's 5. He knows everything. Logan, did you? I know. Mallory, if I knew how to do that, I woulda. I don't know how to do it.
Well,
I'd buy $5 worth. Huh? What?
See, it's just pissing me off now. There we go. I guess I gotta. Now finally, yeah. That shows that reduced nicotine cigarettes do not help people quit smoking.
Again. It stuns me. It's something called Quest in the 80s, I think. It's been done.
They will
umpteen
not
times.
Adhere to using them, and it could increase the use of other tobacco products.
This is another thing that we've told you so. I've got, I think, 3 blogs on their dumbasses, etc., etc.
Yeah. Period.
I didn't realize that I could be so right in my old age.
I know, right? As you get older, you're supposed to,
I thought I'd just get stupider,
less intelligent, Kevin.
My brain would go away, right?
Yeah.
Must be all that.
Why aren't your?
I love Judy on that clusterfuck thing on the opening tonight. I've missed it.
How do I want to? So the only people that appear to be retweeting 22nd century tweets are investors. Oh, investors.
Yeah.
And financial, not advisors, because it's like stock market people that are always, influencers.
Influencers, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just
social media influencers
retweeting.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah. Ha.
Hey,
what do you think, Kevin? You like it? You like it?
I do like it.
Okay.
I'd say flawed, but yeah.
Huh? What do you want to change?
I would use the word flawed for just somewhere in there, just because it's flawed. Your thoughts of this is flawed to begin with.
Well, but
I think it's perfect.
I just read this excellent study from the Journal of SRNG that shows that reduced nicotine cigarettes do not help people quit smoking. They will not adhere to using them, and it could increase the use of other tobacco products and vaping. Why aren't your investors and financial influencers retweeting this study? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is leaving.
Yeah. It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
It's awesome. $100 million plus the U.S. government spent to create and study this shit, and we're just $100 million plus short, holding their ass.
Yeah.
But it ain't theirs. It's our money, not theirs.
More money.
So,
okay, Kev, where are we at? Let me look at my show notes, Kevin. Let me scroll down to my show notes. Oh, there's one more video, and then we can go to the Rumble stuff.
Rumble.
Yeah. Actually, there's another piece that's not in the show notes that we need to cover before we go to Rumble.
Uh-oh.
I already have it open, but a long, long time ago.
Were you playing a piano?
Yeah, no, that was what the commercial. That was the first line in the commercial. Was a long time ago.
So you're singing American Pie through it. It's Song Bomb.
Here we go.
What kind of nonsense is this going to be?
Could also get a lot more difficult soon to find vaping liquid. A bill on the way to the governor's desk tonight would ban the sale of any vaping products that are not already approved by the FDA. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is joining us live now at the state legislative building with why they took this vote.
Well, this is North Carolina. We already know the senator from North Carolina said, now you weren't here for this, Kevin.
No.
During the 2-hour, 2.5 or hour and a half vaping hearing that we talked about several weeks ago on the show, that, he's from North Carolina where all the tobacco is grown. We got to
subsidized.
We got to protect our industries. Is what
subsidized, folks.
And you missed out. The North Carolina guy, he was defending legal vape products, Kevin. He was defending legal vape products, but
imagine.
He was quite racist. In his criticism that all of these products are made in China. These are not American. These are made in China, and we can't trust these. We can't trust these Chinese people because they might be putting something else in the vaping products because they're Chinese people. I mean, it was very it was not even like hiding it, like
Lyndon Johnson-esque.
it was, and I was like, he was talking about, and apparently the Native American tribes that are in North Carolina are also starting to sell vaping products or tobacco product, or not tobacco products, THC vaping products on the reservation, and we can't trust those because we don't know what they're putting in them because they're Indians, they're Native American.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not even a little bit. It was like quite apparent.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And again,
wow.
I'm not all social justice warrior about this, but this guy was not even hiding it. Like, it was out in the full open. I was waiting for him. I was waiting for him to say something about the sharecroppers that were growing the tobacco.
My God. Yeah.
Because it was quite 1950s. Red Scare.
Was he old? Was he in his 70s or better?
Yeah. Yeah, it was there. It was there.
Laura. Mouth to mouth.
Lena, backers of this bill say it's needed to get a handle on the proliferation of vape products. They say cheap imported vapes are contributing to the rapid increase in vaping among teens.
Where?
The measure would create a state registry of vaping.
State registry based on FD. I wonder who is lobbying for this in North Carolina.
Liquids and products that have been approved by the Federal Food and Drug Administration.
Hey,
starting next March, those products will be the only ones vape shops and other retailers can legally sell in North Carolina.
Now, let's be clear, Kevin.
That's
If the only products that a vape shop can sell are FDA-approved vape products, and this is something that Raj pointed out at the beginning of the show, was that all the products that are currently approved are big tobacco-owned products. So, who do you think? All right, what businesses that currently exist already have contracts with distributors and suppliers that sell big tobacco products?
Why, I believe it would all be every gas station in the country. And every grocery store.
Yeah.
And
But
every Walmart.
the mom and pop vape shop don't already have accounts. Probably can't meet the minimum order quantity that that the giant convenience stores, grocery store chains.
That's a blue.
Buy.
This is 2013. This is a blue we're looking at.
Is this not a Fontana or whatever it's called? They're still in business.
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't know, but so this is essentially a bill to kill all the independent mom and pop vape shops.
Yeah.
In addition to reducing access to a plethora of enjoyable products that people like.
Unapproved products would be confiscated by the state, and the retailer could face fines of hundreds or thousands of dollars for repeat violations. Representative Aaron Perez said no one even knows what's in some of the imported products on shelves all over the state.
A UNC professor has likened the effort to curb youth vaping as a game of whack-a-mole. You try to understand what's in a product, what's going in the bodies of these young people, and it's just really hard to understand, and another one pops up.
But we already know what's in those big tobacco products. We know everything. That woman right there that says she doesn't know what's in this bottle of e-liquid that was purchased at a vape shop. We don't know what's in this because it's not made by big tobacco. However, we know everything that's already in the big tobacco products because,
No, we don't.
Well, because...
Not cigarettes, we don't.
None of them will ever release the actual recipes for what's in their cigarettes.
Did you know the Tobacco Control Act states that they will release that? They didn't say when, but it's in there.
At some point. I mean, we actually can do the science to understand what the constituents are when you combust them, but we don't know what they put in there.
And this means she said approved twice. Approved, not authorized. She said approved. You keep that word carefully.
It's unmanageable.
Now, the only vape products that are currently approved by the FDA are made by 3 American tobacco companies. Retailers and vape store owners came to the legislature to tell lawmakers that this is going to cut into their profits and could result in stores having to close their doors. The governor will have 10 days to decide whether to sign this law, veto it, or let it become law without his signature. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, it's a monopoly. So this again once proves to me that lawmakers can say, well, we don't know what to do. We have no idea how these kids keep getting these products that are illegal and they're not old enough to get, and we have laws to prevent all that, but we're incompetent and really we just can't do nothing about it. Because think of the children. Propaganda is so fucking obvious and nobody knows it. Nobody cares. It's Sinar, man.
It's sad to me that
it's
people
a clown show. Jason's sleeping with his redhead Michelle, I think. It's a clown show.
He's got
it's
a
continuous clown show.
Yeah.
We need more clowns. Anybody else got anything to say about vaping? Well, bring them in.
All right. So late breaking today, Kevin. So we're going to talk about the Supreme Court a little bit here, and then after, when we go to the Rumble, there's more Supreme Court stuff over there.
All right.
So several pieces. So about a week ago, it was announced all over on all the medias that the Supreme Court had erected fences around the Supreme Court.
Okay. I didn't see that.
In preparation, because they do a lot of their rulings all in batches.
Yeah.
And there was going to be some hullabaloo this week based on some Supreme Court rulings that were going to happen this week. So they put up fences in preparation for possibly protesting and some shenanigans or whatever. And there was some controversial decisions that were published over the course of this week. A couple different things came out. So one of the things that happened today, is pretty groundbreaking and pretty scorched earth. It could, it's gonna. There's 2 rulings that are really important. But this one, C-Doug decided to pipe open his trap and make a statement.
I did see that.
C-Doug tweeted it, and then I retweeted it and said, yeah, we're going to talk about this tonight. So here's C-Doug's tweet. And I really, Kevin, I don't have to always agree with people. I'm just letting you know this right now. You and I could have a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
And Clifford Douglas, who won't come on our show, he and I are at odds on this particular topic. So it says here, the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to overturn the Chevron defense represents a significant threat to public health, as well as a wide array of environmental and consumer protections, weakening federal agencies, including FDA Tobacco's ability to use objective science based on objective science, based on their own hard-earned expertise and that of the broader scientific community to evaluate products in an evolving regulatory landscape, threatens to harm the public health, blah, 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 blah. And then there's a full statement from the Global Action to End Smoking, which used to be Smoke-Free World. Now, I 100% disagree with this, with his opinion on this. Mm-hmm. And I because we know that their decisions have not been based on science.
Well, science-based is a propaganda term to begin with.
Arbitrary and capricious is the actual terminology that the judges have used on a legal basis. As many of you know, that people that have submitted PMTA applications with science, it was ignored. Their own scientists reported to Reagan-Udall that their decisions have not been allowed to be science-based. So I 100% disagree with you on this, Cliff, because they have already shown, different government agencies, not just this one, but the EPA and other agencies, have also made some arbitrary and capricious decisions that I disagree with.
It's social political bullshit is what it is. It's not
so
science-based means, well, there's a little science in here, but it's our opinion. Just what you said. Just what you said.
So, again, I disagree. And Politico has also reported that the justices just shackled Biden and every future president and created new messes for Congress to solve. Guess what? That's fucking Congress's job.
Oh wait, they gave the American public more ability to have more freedom. Depends on how you word that, I guess.
Yeah. So let me rub this just a little bit. Oh, it's
less government. What?
So the High Court envisions a Congress where nuance, detail, and a sense of urgency prevail. Buckle up. So the Supreme Court's decision to torch a once obscure Reagan-era legal doctrine will remake one of the most fundamental aspects of power in Washington. And hobble presidents pursuing aggressive policies on anything from abortion to student debt relief. Well, guess what, boys and girls? Whether you are a fan of Biden or a fan of Trump, both of them have exercised political authority to write executive orders that create laws outside of their sphere of influence. Presidents are not allowed to make laws. That is the legislature's job. What are you talking over me for, Kevin?
Where they don't belong.
Yes, where they don't belong. So we have this thing called a constitution, and in that thing, the Constitution, it says that there will be a separation of powers. The executive branch, their job is to exercise the law. The legislative branch, their job is to make the law. And the judiciary, their job is to interpret that law. So therefore, presidents should not be granted carte blanche authority to legislate from the executive branch. It's not, it should never happen. It should, well, I shouldn't say never. It should rarely happen. And presidents throughout history have increasingly exercised the use of executive orders in a substantial way, more and more. So when President Trump said we're going to ban travel from the Middle East to the United States, he wrote an executive order that said we're not allowing those people in our country, which was unconstitutional, by the way, because it should be the legislature's branch. It should be their, issuance of papers to allow people into the country. That all is regulated and governed by the legislature, not the President of the United States. And the Supreme Court slapped him for it. So all presidents should be limited in what they can do with that little pen. Mm-hmm. So anyway, peeling back the doctrine known as the Chevron defense has been a conservative cause for decades. Well, it should be, because it's not in our Constitution. One aimed at restricting agencies' freedom to decide how to interpret Congress' often ambiguous statutes. So if Congress passes an ambiguous statute or law, their job should be to define what it is that they mean. It shouldn't be FDA's job. It shouldn't be the EPA's job to interpret anything. Their job is to do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Right? You got it? Are you following me there, Kevin? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Where Michigan produces cars and Texas pumps oil, the nation's capital is America's leading manufacturer of regulations, whose increasing complexity the High Court is now subjecting to new scrutiny from judges. Chevron is overruled. Courts must exercise their independent judgment in deciding whether an agency has acted within its statutory authority. This impacts us significantly, Kevin. So since the FDA it's already been ruled, has acted arbitrarily and capriciously because they have not defined what their regulations are.
Not yet.
They're doing a bad job. Conservatives advocating the change aimed to restrain presidents, mostly Democrats, whose agencies have stretched the boundaries of laws passed decades or generations ago to address the problems of today. Defanging the White House this way frees up judges to reach their own conclusions about what lawmakers meant. No, it should mean that Congress should do a better job at defining what it is that they mean.
Well, they don't want to be accountable for that, Patrick.
If they pass vague laws, then the Supreme Court has the ultimate authority to interpret that law. If the Congress wants to pass specific laws with instructions, well, then that's what they need to do.
That's exactly what they should do. Without question. There's no exception, in my opinion.
So we don't elect people at the FDA.
No, we don't.
So how in the hell is it that FDA is supposed to do their job that we've assigned, that our politicians that we've elected had hired them to do, if they are not given instructions, Kevin?
They just tell them what they want done.
So,
that's why Dick's so popular.
When I was working in, I have protocols that I have to follow in my current situation. But, when I was younger, if I worked in a restaurant and I was told, hey, go over there and chop up those onions, and the guy doesn't tell me whether or not he wants them diced or julienned or whatever, I'm going to cut them however it is that I think they should be cut.
Right.
But if he says go over there and julienne those cucumbers, or go over there and I'm going to do whatever he instructs me to do.
Right.
Slice them, dice them, julienne them. They're going to tell me what it is that they want because they are specific. Well, but if you tell somebody, hey, regulate this, they're going to regulate it whatever way they think that it should be regulated.
Yeah, when Dick says ban that, they do, well, okay, we'll just do that then.
Yeah.
There's a very wide definition of what you have to do. That's a very dangerous thing.
So it says here, from now on, Congress will be expected to sort out the intricacies of issues like housing, finance, greenhouse gas emissions, and artificial intelligence at a time it's already struggling to legislate on big issues. So here's the thing, Kevin. Biden, like in the last couple months, he ordered the creation of a committee to research artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay. So that the job of that committee, that group of lawmakers and experts, is to develop information for Congress so that they can read and understand the topic before they make laws. That's their job. We already know that Obama, when he was president, he had an environmental czar, a guy whose job it was to develop information for Congress and the White House on the environment.
Yeah.
So they have tools needed to learn about the topics that these people are supposed to be governing. It's their fucking job to understand these things. We elect them to learn this stuff.
But see, so now they can't play grab ass in the offices, and they actually have to fucking work, Patrick, and this is upsetting them.
Well, Michelle makes a point. She says they don't read crap before they pass. Well, the problem is we've allowed this to happen. We, the people, have allowed this to happen.
Yeah.
By not allowing, by I shouldn't say by not allowing, by allowing Congress to repeatedly not pass individual bills, but to allow them to pass omnibus structure bills that are 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 pages
that nobody's
instead of
going to
making
read.
them break it down into individual pieces of legislation.
Yep.
That's the problem. We should start a movement in political spheres that would require all legislation be passed individually instead of in omnibus packages.
Well, that would take forever, Patrick.
Well, that's their fucking job. We pay them for that, Kevin.
That's what you're supposed to be doing.
And that would make sure that they don't focus, that they actually only focus on important bills that need to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we need to do is we need to get a politician on our side on this non-omnibus bullshit and say, hey, from now on, all pieces of legislation that pass through Congress must be individual pieces of legislation. We don't want omnibus packages anymore.
Should never
The only big bill that should pass every year is the budget.
Well, yes. With nothing else in it.
But the problem is the budget, our budget is suddenly no longer a spending bill. It's a spending bill that includes packages for, money that goes to the Ukraine or money that goes to Israel or, hey, I got this bit of package that I want to add here that will, ban bump stocks or do X, Y, or Z that have nothing to do with the budget.
Nope. Sad.
Yeah. So instead,
we've always done it this way.
Yeah. Instead, no, it hasn't always been this way.
Well, for a long time it has.
Since Reagan was president. Reagan was the last president that I'm aware of that I can remember right off the top of my head that required Congress to pass a balanced budget.
Right.
And tried to push through a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution that would require that the government actually balance the books every year. Most of us that have a checking account, we have to balance we have to go through our checking account and balance our budget so that we know how much money we have in the bank.
Yeah. Well, we got more checks. We can keep riding.
Well, I don't even have checks. I don't have checks, Kevin. Instead, Congress has gotten used to leaving lots of legislative gaps for agencies to fill in for themselves. So while the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act gave President Joe Biden a big win on drug prices, allowing Medicare to begin negotiating, I understand. I just wrote a paper about this actually I helped my wife write a paper about this, Kevin.
Sweet.
To begin negotiating with pharmaceutical companies for the first time, the law didn't tell the agencies precisely how to do that. And while it's well established that the Environmental Protection Agency can regulate carbon emissions from power plants, the decades-old Clean Air Act is similarly missing detailed instructions. So that's whose fault is that? It's the people that passed the bill.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the future of Biden's student debt relief efforts and appeal to young and blah blah blah. So yeah, so Kevin, I have a bone to pick about this student loan thing, Kev.
All right.
So I went to college a long time ago, Kevin, and I spent about $150,000 on student loans.
I believe you.
And I signed a promissory note when I took out those loans that I would pay those back.
Wait, were you under 25?
Yes.
You could blame brain damage or undeveloped brain, and then maybe they'll
and I was a smoker then too, Kevin. My brain was definitely damaged from
this
the
is
nicotine.
A lawsuit for you waiting to happen. I just don't know why you don't already have an attorney.
You know what, Kevin? I actually picked a field that I felt that I could make enough money to pay back my student loans.
Yeah, yeah.
And I worked and I budgeted, and I paid off all my student loans myself. I didn't ask somebody else.
Right,
I didn't ask anyone to I didn't ask the taxpayers of the United States to forgive my student loans and pay off my student loans. I paid them off myself.
Right.
I mean, there were times where I was eating like ramen noodles and not eating the ribeye steaks and all that stuff, but I paid off my student loans.
Yeah.
All by myself.
Yep.
Because I got a degree in a field that I knew I would get a job in.
And
now,
also,
there are
along with you and people like you,
I'm going to be a Gen Xer here for a second, Kevin. I'm going to yell at these younger people. It's not my fault that you chose a degree that is either overpopulated, like psychology or sociology, where you can't get a job because you decided to do that, or again, gender studies, or I'm sorry, ladies, but a degree in women's issues is not really very lucrative. It's really hard to make a living with a degree in that field, even though it's those are important classes that you should take so you understand the struggle of being a woman, but it's not really something that you can get a big job in or a good job in. So it's not my fault you chose a field of study that is not high paying, or you can't even get a job in. So it's not my responsibility to pay off your student loans. My tax dollars should not go to that. That's your struggle that you're going to have to deal with. It's not mine. Sorry. Not sorry. But anyway, what were you going to say, Kevin, before I went off on my...
Just that along with you, for instance, one brother, entire military career, double dips into the private sector. He took advantage of every single available way, and he did pay. It's not that he got it all for free, but I don't know if it was at the time called GI Bill or what it's called at this point, but he took complete advantage of that, and rightly so. I completely agree with that. And he had less debt than others. Probably you had more or twice as much, or I don't know how many times as much, but the government, he gave his time, and they also gave him that.
Yeah, that's what we have the GI Bill for, Kevin. That's to help people who want to improve their situation by providing service and getting paid for it. It's a benefit that is provided.
Right, and people that I know personally that I've known who've become successful people in their fields that paid for their own as you did. And for that, I admire those people. I got no student loan debt because I didn't go to college, but that was my choice.
Yeah, that's a choice that you made. You said, I don't think I can pay this back. I'm going to go do something else, or I don't have the desire to go to school. I really think that we overinflate the value of college.
Now, a bill of goods being sold at the time became something way less valuable.
Right. And, what's that guy's name? Charlie Kirk. He goes around from colleges and talks about that college is a scam. Now, college is not always a scam. I mean, there's opportunity to improve your situation if you make the right choices. But there are a lot of things that you have to pay for in college that are just stupid. There's a lot of classes that are required that you pay for that you will never need in the real world. It's just like lots of, stuff.
Yeah. One thing lobbing at you, and I can't quote it because I don't remember where I heard it, but heard it, read it, saw it. Like at the time in the late 80s, early 90s, I was hearing something like 40% of the people going to college for X will be nowhere near that field at the end of their college.
Oh, no, it's even higher than that. It's like 70% of people that are currently in college won't be able to get a job in their field.
Yeah.
And then there's a percentage of those people that don't even graduate.
The bill of goods part is where that came from. That's where I brought that out. Just can't.
Our higher education program is both the best and the worst in the world. It's just that simple. Because we allow people to make poor decisions. I mean, you should, before you enroll in school and before you pick, a program, when I was in school, you had to have an academic advisor who helped you through your thing. And he would tell you, I really don't think this is the right field for you. You should probably try X, Y, or Z. We had this book, and I don't know that they still have it or not. It's called What Color is Your Parachute or something like that. And you would answer questions, and it would help you pick the right field for you.
That's what the Army did, right?
Yeah, it's one of the things. So, it's a thing. It happens. It's real.
Yeah.
But people make piss poor decisions when they're young. They dream of stuff that is just a dream instead of being firmly planted in reality.
following in
But
dad's
anyway,
footsteps or whatever.
Let's finish this off so we can go to the Rumble to really piss people off. The future of Biden's student debt efforts and appeal to young and millennial voters may come undone without Chevron. The Supreme Court balked at Biden's first attempt at wiping out billions of dollars of student college loans last year using COVID-related emergency powers. Yeah, they slammed the door. They said, you don't have the authority to do this. Only Congress can do this. In its wake, the Education Department fired up a Plan B that instead relies on a novel reading of a decades-old higher education law. Biden's second, less sweeping approach launched with a proposed rule this spring designed to cancel some debt for millions of borrowers as early as this fall. The latest plan, separate from this new student loan repayment plan that is already partially blocked by the court, seeks to forgive unpaid interest for some 25 million Americans who now owe more on their student loans than they originally took out. Now, the problem is, Kevin, just like all credit card debt that has a thing on there says minimum payment, if you're stupid enough to make the minimum payment, and you're not smart enough to look at an amortization chart, you deserve what you get.
Right. There's
in the 10 years, almost 11 years that it took me to pay back $150,000, Kevin, I never once made a minimum payment.
You can't.
On every payment that I made, I overpaid. I doubled the payment, and I would write in the check. This is when I had checks. Apply surplus to principal.
Yep.
So that reduced the principal, which reduces the interest, and over time, and you always make 13 payments a year. Never make 12 payments, Kevin, because that 13 payments, all principal.
Same with your mortgage, same with your car payment, same with any payment.
Exactamundo. Never, ever, ever,
any.
Now we're just giving financial advice on the vaping show.
Health, finance, yeah, whatever. Comedy.
A little bit of that. I'm just saying, I understand that these people are in an upside down situation, but they are the ones that took out the massive amounts of loans. They're the ones that didn't bother to research a prime repayment plan.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, I didn't know all this when I was 18 years old.
No, they didn't teach anything. I've taught my kids more shit than I knew. Once I turned about 30, I'm like, oh, I need to let my children know that because nobody told me.
But the problem is, a lot of these young people, they put a priority on paying a lot of money for a PlayStation 6 instead of paying the debt that they already owe.
Yep.
And I'm not making fun of people that are gamers. I have massive computers in here. I'm all about, technology and having fun and all that stuff, but you have to prioritize, and they're not doing that. And it's the same way with the fucking government regulations. They're not prioritizing saving lives. They're prioritizing nonsense that they cannot control.
Their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, lamenting the fact that presidents under this new ruling will have less authority to make broad sweeping claims or a broad sweeping legislation doesn't bother me at all, Kevin. I actually love the idea that government agencies are going to have to turn around when they get instructions to do something, or they get an order to do something, and they have to turn around and say, hey, Congress, we need instructions. We want you to tell us what we're supposed to do. That's what I want.
Nobody at the FDA has done that so far. And isn't that neat? Because it's all about the public health.
You need to tell us what it is that you want us to do. That is what I want. I don't want them I don't want unelected people. Now, vaping has made this argument before, Kevin. This is something that was in several of our lawsuits that got denied, was that we didn't want appointed people making decisions that elected people should be making. In those cases, got denied. But now the Supreme Court is saying, you know what? The Congress should be doing this. The people that these agencies that are just making up shit that they
instead what we've come to is Frank Pallone and Dickhead Durbin are telling FDA what they need to do, and that's not law.
Well, no, they're giving them an end result. We want you to do this, but they're not telling them how to do that.
This is the order. Get it done the way it needs to be done. This is how we want it to happen, and fuck everybody else. That's what they're doing.
They've put the cart in front of the horse. They want to get to the destination without starting at the starting line.
Yeah.
And see, the situation is that as elected officials, you should be telling the agencies under your authority what they are supposed to be doing.
Will and will not do.
So I'm sorry, C-Doug, I disagree with you. I wholeheartedly disagree with you on this situation, and I think that the government should have as little authority as possible to make decisions without any sort of oversight, without any sort of instructions, without. I'm tired of politicians saying, well, we don't know what's in it. Well, guess what? If you had done the research, then you would know.
We already would know. If the mirage of science-based was actually true, we wouldn't be here. That's all. If this is science, not based, if it's science, everything below a cigarette would be immediate. It would be an immediate, okay, let's check it. Yeah, this is good. Next. There would be 10 million applications or however the fuck many there were, 60, I don't know, 5 million, who knows.
1.6 million, Kevin. 1.6 million.
Every fucking one of them is better for people, for the protection of public health than the 400 now odd cigarettes that have been approved. Are those for the protection of public health? More cigarettes are? Oh, but these aren't. Okay. So there's a political stew and it won't stop. So until maybe this might help it just a little. Because Gottlieb can say anything he wanted. And so did Dickhead Zeller. And so does Brian, the whatever the fuck he is.
I used to call Gottlieb King Gottlieb.
Epidemiologist.
And now we have Brian King at FDA. I should be calling him King Brian. But
well, as long as you say it from your basement.
So Kevin, we're gonna leave here.
Good.
And go to the Rumbles.
Yeah.
And we have 3 pieces to talk about over there.
All right, you better hurry up because boy's gonna be here before. Oh my God, look at you!
You might as well just stay up all night now. We should just, Kasa did a 24-hour live stream a while ago.
Can't do it.
And they raised some money for Kasa. We should also do a 24-hour live stream and give money to Kasa. You got a
rodent in your pocket because
they didn't make as much money as they wanted. I can tell you that. I think people's wallets are slowly closing, but I felt bad. They were up for 24 hours. I think they took turns, but I felt bad for them.
Still.
But anyway.
Wow.
Oh, it was only 12 hours. Okay. So
was it 12? Still.
Back in old timey days, Kevin, back in the days of the vaping militia and Vapers TV, we actually did a 24-hour telethon for Kasa. All of the vaping networks that we're currently on joined forces and did 24 hours on Vapers TV. And I was there for almost all 24 hours. We raised something, I think it was like $38,000 for Kasa in one night. It might have been more than that. It was a big chunk of money that we raised, but that was like 10 years ago. That was, maybe not 10 years
People were hyped up, yeah.
2016, 2017 in that ballpark. So
I remember that.
That was fun. We had a lot of fun. We had auctions and raffles and all sorts of stuff, and people just donated money, and it was awesome. But anyway, we're gonna play some pieces. Kevin's gonna go get a refresher coffee probably. When I snuck away, I actually just went and brought my whole bottle of drink in here so that I could just refill my drink. But let's just step away for a minute, and when we come back, we will only be on the Rumbles. I did throw the link to the Rumble in all of the chat rooms, so you guys can follow us over there. But let's play some. Let me pick something out here. That's here. We'll just play the Vape Madness. That's about almost 3 minutes.
Must be stopped. You and all other school parent groups about the country, and you must stand united on this and stamp out this frightful assassin of our youth.
Recipe for disaster that's fueling outright addiction. Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes are poison. Today, right now, it would appear the wildfire of e-cig use among teenagers, high schoolers, middle schoolers, has not let up.
Just think if your kid was doing this and winds up with an IQ 10 or 15 points lower than he or she would have had.
They shouldn't be experimenting with the entire American public. What we know is these products are addicting millions of kids.
Dr. Carroll, as principal of the Lakeside High School, did you, during the last 3 months, notice any changes in the demeanor and attitude of your student, William Hopper? Yes, in a number of things. For example, at times disassociation of ideas. In another instance, I happened to attend the recent interscholastic tennis matches, and while Bill Hopper had been considered an exceedingly good player, I saw him miss the ball by as much as 3 or 4 feet. This, I understand, could be attributed to the use of
e-cigarettes.
It causes errors in time and space.
No child should be using any tobacco product. We are going to be taking action very soon, enforcement action.
Well, then, although you didn't know to your own knowledge that the defendant was using
e-cigarettes,
did you notice any changes that would lead you to believe, as an educator, that he was under some severe mental strain, which might possibly have been induced by some drug?
One thing I find that, teenagers and college students are interested in, cigarettes and e-cigarettes are kind of like anti-Viagra.
Oh, by the way, Dr. Carroll, 6 months ago, what would have been your opinion regarding the character of my client? He was a fine, upstanding American boy, a good scholar, a good athlete, and representative of the caliber of young men we are proud to graduate from our school.
I made a technical difficulty. Rumble is still there. Enjoy the Rumble. We're there. I got to end the other stuff though.
I gotta go on a mission this weekend. I need your help. I gotta go up to New Hampshire to smuggle some contraband. My mom smokes menthol cigarettes, but they don't sell them in Massachusetts anymore. You can slowly embalm yourself from the inside out, but you better not enjoy the flavor while you're doing it. Last time I did this, I drove up there, I go into like a convenience store, I get an energy drink, a donut, and a couple cartons of menthol cigarettes, and the guy looks at me like, Jesus, you health nut, why don't you just raw dog a lot lizard out in the parking lot and bat the cycle? I've never smoked a cigarette, not one time in my life. I'm not judging. I have every other vice known to man except that.